Sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes will start Saturday's game at home against the Texans. Mahomes is coming back from a mild high right ankle sprain late in Sunday's game against the Browns. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports barring any setbacks, the Chiefs will activate wideout Hollywood Brown. For his season debut, Brown got hurt on the first play of the first preseason game. The Chargers and Broncos start the NFL weekend tonight in Inglewood. The Chargers won the first meeting back in Week 6 in Denver. Tomorrow night, the first round of the college football playoff opens with Indiana at Notre Dame. Bears tight end and Notre Dame alum Cole Kmet.
Yeah, I'm juiced about it. I know all the buddies that I played with are excited about it, and fortunately, I'm close enough where I'm actually going to try and make it out for the first half at the very least, and make the drive over and go check it out. So, really excited about it, and it should be a lot of fun.
Cole Kmet on college football on ESPN Radio. We'll have tomorrow night's game at 7:30 Eastern. The game also on ABC and ESPN.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, is Ryan Day's job on the line against Tennessee? Could he become a candidate for an NFL job if he wins a natty? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Tigers continue to be active in the portal. Alvin Kamara's season could be over. We'll preview the playoff with Adam Rittenberg of ESPN, Mike Triplett, Hour 3. Ton to do. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, just turn the calendar and you'll see more transfer portal news. And here on Thursday, comings and goings for LSU that we've learned. Tigers have added a punter. I'll tell you about him in just a quick second. And they see a quarterback exit stage left, entering the portal now for the second time in his career, which is where we'll start. So AJ Swann will enter the transfer portal. You know Swann's story here. So the game against Baylor will be his Swan song. See, Swan song, farewell, but it's a play on his name. It's a pun.
It's clever. I like it. I like puns. I do like puns too.
Good pun. So AJ Swann will stay with LSU for the bowl game, but he is entering the portal. Get that report from On 3 with Hayes Fawcett. So, this probably shouldn't strike anyone as a surprise, considering LSU added Michael Van Buren. So what does this mean for the Tigers next year at quarterback? We'll delve into that. Just a really quick thumbnail on Swan for those that don't remember, aren't familiar. So Swan went to Vanderbilt in 2022, played 9 games, started 6 as a true freshman. As a sophomore in 2023, started 6 games, the first 5 of the season. They were very bad. He was benched. Then he started the season finale against Tennessee. Threw for a shade under 1,500 yards, 12 TDs, 7 interceptions. So a guy had played a good bit of football, 12 starts in 2 years, which is why it was really attractive bringing AJ Swann in this season, knowing Garrett Nussmeier was going to be your starter, but without any type of experienced backup, you would have gone into this season with Nussmeier and then, of course, Ricky Collins, Colin Hurley, a redshirt freshman, and a true freshman early enrollee. So, or a reclassified true freshman who showed up on campus at 16 years old. You had to go add some experience, and you did that with AJ Swann. A guy had started 12 games over 2 seasons. He's exactly what you wanted in a backup. He ended up playing in 2 games for LSU. He played a play against Florida when Nussmeier went out with injury, came right back in, and then played that's a couple series against Oklahoma when Nussmeier went out with what looked like that shoulder clavicle injury before coming back at the end of the first half. But we all saw how that went for AJ Swann when he went in, and I think LSU realized that this was not someone that was going to be their quarterback of the future. So if Swann wanted to return as a backup again, sure, but they went out and added Michael Van Buren. They upgraded. It's one of the things whenever we talk about not only the quarterback position, but every position on the roster, you should always, always, always be looking to get better at every position. And it's the same way that we think about backup quarterbacks in the NFL. And I know we're starting to draw a lot of comparisons to the NFL, which I understand college and the NFL are not the same thing, but roster construction is starting to look like that. Because prior to NIL portal window, you sign high school quarterbacks, you develop them, you hope they continue to mature, and if you need a backup, it's generally going to be someone who hadn't played. Unless if you have a 2-quarterback type system. In the NFL, you always want a backup that has some game experience. I mean, Jameis Winston was the number 1 overall pick, who was a starter for half a decade in Tampa, came to New Orleans to back up Drew Brees. Say the same thing about Andy Dalton, who had been a starter. Just look at any NFL team when you look at backups. Generally, it's guys who have been starting quarterbacks somewhere because you want that experience. It's to say, if you have to go to your backup, you're not likely going to win anything of significance. But if something happens to your starter, can the backup keep the train on the tracks? Can he keep the wheels from falling off until the starter comes back? I mean, Teddy Bridgewater did that in New Orleans years ago. So that's kind of the appeal. The Nick Foles, the backup's going to take you to the Super Bowl in Philly. That's the outlier. And again, we're talking about college now, but you're looking through the prism right now of what if Garrett Nussmeier twists an ankle, misses a week, misses a half. Can the backup come in and function? That's what you're looking for. But the double part of that, the other part of that conversation is you're also looking longer term as well. And if I asked you today, who would you rather replace Garrett Nussmeier, AJ Swann or Michael Van Buren? I think we all know AJ Swann's an older player. He'll be going into his 4th year of college next season. But Van Buren very clearly has the higher ceiling, more athletic, more arm talent, all that sort of stuff. So it's the right decision. And AJ Swann, looking for a new destination, is probably the smart play. He'll probably go down in classification, go G5 or lower, and find a place to go be a starting quarterback somewhere to get on the field. And you wish him well in that endeavor. LSU's going to be better with Michael Van Buren. The tricky part of this, though, is this does leave you paper thin at quarterback because you've got Nussmeier, then you've got Michael Van Buren, who's going to be a rising sophomore, and then redshirt freshman Colin Hurley. You got to have 4. You can't go into a season with just 3 quarterbacks, 3 scholarship quarterbacks, because you're always an injury away from being in a very precarious situation. And, unfortunately, you do see that. So you've got to be able to go get another quarterback. And I don't know what the appeal, that's going to be the really challenging thing for LSU, is what's going to be the appeal? It's going to be very hard to go find a proven quarterback who's going to want to sit behind Nussmeier and join a quarterback room that already has Michael Van Buren, who got a very handsome NIL package to come to LSU, leaving Mississippi State with the idea of competing to be the starter in 2026. Why would another quarterback choose to join that room knowing they're sitting in 25 and then competing in 26? There's got to be more appealing spots where you can go play. Or you go after a high school quarterback, maybe if there are any that are unsigned, and you look toward the February signing date. That's probably not ideal. You could always look at the FCS ranks. We've seen that from LSU in the past, where they've got an FCS transfer who comes in, knows that they're a camp arm, most likely a warm body, but someone who wants the opportunity to wear those colors and run out of that tunnel and get that experience. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging to find another quarterback, but it's something that between now and the start of next season, LSU is going to have to do because you cannot go into next year. Again, I'm not telling you they're going to add a superstar talent, but you have to have another capable body that can join that quarterback room, and that's going to be a tall task for Austin Thomas, Brian Kelly, and the staff here between now and the start of the 2025 season. You've got the February signing date, then you'll have the spring portal window to see what might shake and what opportunity might be out there. So AJ Swann enters the transfer portal. He's leaving LSU, but will play in the bowl game, which is significant, obviously. I mean, you need to have a backup quarterback should something happen to Garrett Nussmeier. So Swan will stay through the bowl game, but he's in the portal. So I'm certain that was mutually agreed upon. I can't imagine Brian Kelly has a problem understanding that you're not playing in a meaningful bowl game and you'd love to have a backup just in case, and understanding why A.J. Swann's going to leave because you've already got Michael Van Buren on board. So that's that part of it. The Tigers did add a player via the transfer portal. They went and got a punter, and I mean, this isn't something that's going to steal headlines, but it's one that was a necessity. So Grant Chadwick was a true freshman this year at Middle Tennessee State, averaged better than 43 yards a kick. He boomed 13 of them more than 50 yards and had 21 punts down to inside the 20-yard line. For what it's worth, Blake Oxendorf and Peyton Todd, neither one of them ever solidified the job. Oxendorf averaged 40.2 yards per kick. Peyton Todd, 41.6. All season, LSU had one punt travel more than 50 yards. All season, one punt go beyond 50 yards. Chadwick had 13 of them. So a big-legged freshman who's got 3 years of eligibility remaining, was a Ray Guy Award watch lister this year, honorable mention All-Conference USA. Yes, an opportunity to get better. So we'll see what happens with Peyton Todd, with Blake Oxendorf. Hard to imagine one or both returns next season, but we'll keep an eye on that. But you brought in a guy who started this year in the Conference USA and had a very nice season and would seemingly be a talent upgrade at that spot where you could certainly use it because you were awful in net punting this year. So Grant Chadwick jumps aboard here as part of the LSU portal class for 2025. All right. One other note there is LSU still looking for a special teams coach. Remember, Slade Nagel had dual roles as your tight ends coach and your special teams coach. He's now the offensive coordinator at the University of Houston. Bob Diaco, who's an analyst, worked. I mean, when we got to watch practice in fall camp, we saw this plenty. I mean, Bob Diaco was running a lot of the special teams drills. So you still have Bob Diaco there helping, but you still have to add someone who's an on-field staffer with the title of a special teams coach, coordinator, whatever it may be. So when that happens, we'll pass it along. But an upgrade here with Grant Chadwick coming in from Middle Tennessee to be LSU's punter next year. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Basically, if you're watching sports and you love the home teams, Bud Light and our friends over at Mockler Beverage are great supporters of all the local home teams. You're going to be at the Maravich Center. Make sure you drink plenty of ice-cold Bud Light. You're hanging out at Christmas parties or Christmas morning, whatever it may be. Well, maybe not Christmas morning. Maybe Christmas Day, Christmas Eve. I would have plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. LSU's added formally added one player from Virginia Tech out of the portal, Mansour Delane, and a second we're expecting at any moment in Braylon Moore, the center. Andy Bitter covers Virginia Tech. I figured let's go up to Blacksburg, see if we can get a thumbnail on the two LSU additions via the portal. We'll do that next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions over at Glow Resources with a 96% success rate. It's almost unheard of and unmatched at Glow Resources. When you work with Glow Resources, they get results. 96% success rate. And if for whatever reason the employee they find for your job doesn't work, they'll give you a prorated refund or they'll help you find another employee absolutely free. Learn more at glowresources.com. GLO, glowresources.com. Yes, they specialize in skilled blue-collar workers, welders, carpenters, heavy equipment operators, crane operators, but also on the admin side as well. If it's civil construction, maritime, service companies, appliances, and they have their professional placement division where they can source people from all over the world. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online at glowresources.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
Tigers keep rolling in the transfer portal, and they've actually gone up to Blacksburg to get a couple of prospects. One we know for certain. The other we're waiting sort of like in any minute now. Figured let's take the opportunity to learn a little bit more about these guys. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline, good enough to join us. He's on Twitter at AndyBitterVT if you want to give him a follow. Andy, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you guys?
Doing really well. Portal season kind of keeps everybody busy. I'd imagine the same for you. Let's start with the one we know with Mansour. What's the last name here? I've heard it pronounced like 4 different ways. Delane, Delaney, Delon. How do we say it?
Delane for the last name. The first name is Mansour. He'll make sure that you get that right away. Mansour Delane.
Mansour. Okay, I like it very much. Mansour. Mansour Delane. Okay, so we've learned something there. That's already progress. So Mansour Delane, how big of a deal that he left Tech in the portal?
Kind of a big deal. I was kind of gearing this up as his being his last year at Virginia Tech, one way or another. I thought he might go to the NFL. I've seen him, some projections to go to the NFL. I don't know if he had quite the season that he wanted to, sort of catapult him into that level and be in the consideration for those first couple rounds. So, I figured he'd get paid one way or another, and the transfer portal is probably the best route for that. A little surprised, his brother decided Ohio State. His younger brother's a 4-star safety, so I thought he might go the Ohio State route with this, but sounds like LSU's he likes it a little bit better.
Was this a thing where, so you said either way you felt this was going to be his last year at Tech. Walk me through his career, because I can look at stats, and there was obviously progress from year 1 to 2 to 3, and he's a very productive guy, but walk us through his career and how he sort of developed and advanced there in Blacksburg.
Yeah, he was a summer arrival in 2022, and had a little bit of an injury issue he was dealing with in August, so he didn't get on the field right away. But middle of the season, they started playing him and starting him in the secondary, and he looked very good. Freshman All-American on some outlets out there. The sort of versatile guy, can play safety, can play cornerback, and I think that's sort of his role in 2023 was shifting between the two of those things because they had some injuries at safety, more so at quarterback this past season. I think he had 4 interceptions in the year. Some games that were not his greatest. I think you look at the Vanderbilt opener. They picked on him quite a bit. Did not have his best effort, but he bounced back the next week, played very well, and I think he had a really solid season. So I think he's a high potential guy that has shown flashes throughout his career, but still could put it together in an entire season.
Does he project more as a corner or a safety?
I would view him as a cornerback. I think he has the skills to play both, but if you have the coverage skills that he has, I think you want to take advantage of that most by playing him at cornerback.
So LSU has a desperate need at safety, and they're a little, I don't know, maybe a little full at cornerback. There'll be a lot of competition there. Do you get the sense that he's a guy that would leave Blacksburg, go to Baton Rouge to play safety, or is this a thing where he's going to play corner wherever he goes?
I think he's going there just for the opportunity. I don't think he probably has a single position in mind. I think he's got that skill set, but if he has to show it that he can play safety, it's something that he's done in the past. And, you make yourself versatile. You showed up for the NFL. They like those kind of versatile defensive backs that can play safety, corner, nickel, wherever you want them. So I don't necessarily view it as a bad thing if they switch positions, but, he has the capabilities to play more than one spot.
Andy Bitter is with us. Tech Sideline covers Virginia Tech on Twitter at AndyBitterVT. I want to ask about Braylon Moore as well. I think maybe the big surprise here with Braylon Moore is that there still isn't anything official from Braylon Moore when everybody seems to be projecting him to LSU. Any idea what's going on there?
Not really. I'm sure he's a guy that Virginia Tech would like to keep. They currently don't have an offensive line coach, though, and I don't think they can match the sort of NIL funds that he might get in an open market like that. I mean, these offensive linemen, they get out there, it's sort of a feeding frenzy. You've seen it the last couple of years where, even average prospects, tons of schools are going after those guys because everybody needs an offensive lineman. So I'm not really sure what the holdup would be. I saw that, I think it was last week where people started projecting him to LSU. But I would imagine he has quite a bit of interest out there as a 2-year starter, has played guard and center before, and the Hokies were lining him up to be their starting center for another year in 2025, and he decided to go into the portal.
Yeah, walk us through that movement on the offensive line, why he played both sort of throughout his career trajectory there.
Yeah, he started up as a guard, and his brother Caden, who was a year older, was actually playing center. And they moved Caden to guard this year. They moved Braylon over to center, and I think it was, with the idea in mind that they were going to get 2 years out of him at center. You like to have that established and have a guy there that's returning for the following season. Now, maybe that was foolish in the portal era that you think you would get 2 years out of a guy when could be in demand if he goes out there as a transfer. But I think that was the plan with it. And, they were shifting guys around on their offensive line to try to find the best five. And that's sort of where they ended up with Braylon as a center. And he played pretty well. And I don't think he was, all ACC or all conference or anything like that, but he played pretty well. And I think he turned in a pretty good season.
Look, LSU's center position was really a challenge this year. They desperately need help there, and they need experience. So it's obviously what they're going after here. Where would you say is maybe the strength or weakness in Braylon Moore's game as a center?
I think he's a pretty strong guy, pretty stout guy as a center. You look at his size. I mean, he's got guard size playing the center position. I don't really feel like I remember too many snapping issues this past year. That's always something that's new for a guy that's never played the position before. Is how does he handle that responsibility on top of everything else? I am by no means an offensive line expert.
Sure.
So I don't know if I can sit here and tell you his strengths and weaknesses per se, but I mean, he was a real solid player for them, and somebody who's going to be very missed on the interior of that line, just as somebody who made all the calls and did everything for an entire season like that.
Andy, before you go, just a thought overall on Tech and a 6-6 season there, and seeing guys like this jump in the portal. I mean, everybody loses guys in the portal now. That goes without saying, but just sort of the state of where Tech is in this new world with NIL and portal.
Yeah, I think it's sort of an unsound footing. I mean, you saw their basketball program here. I don't know if you're familiar with their basketball program, but it got gutted last year. Everybody transferred after the season, and I think people were relating that to maybe some NIL promises that were not kept or payments that were not completely made. And you see all these players leaving Virginia Tech right now, and it might be a case where people have a pretty big war chest that they have to use before this whole house settlement comes down, and that led to a whole influx of money into the whole system. But I think it's tough for schools like Virginia Tech to keep up with some of these SEC schools. I mean, there have been 5 or 6 transfers so far from Virginia Tech that have gone to SEC schools. 2 to LSU, 1 to Auburn, 2 to Vanderbilt, and 1 to Missouri now. So I think you can see kind of where the money is flowing in college athletics, and it's not necessarily these, mid to bottom teams of the ACC. So I think it's going to be a challenge. I think that's why a school like Virginia Tech really hopes this house settlement goes through and this revenue sharing piece of it, that maybe a little bit more of a level playing field where NIL isn't so much pay for play like it's become. Right. So I think that's the hope. I don't know if they get to that point though.
Boy, it'll be fascinating too, Andy. Even with the house settlement, everyone is hoping that that's what happens. But I get that feeling, man. If you got wealthy people trying to buy an advantage, they'll find a way to do it somehow. It was collectives in this iteration. Yeah. I mean, collectives in this iteration, what would it be after the house settlement? I don't know, but it'll continue to unfold. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline at Andy Bitter VT. If you want to give him a follow, give us some insight there on Mansour Delane and Braylon Moore. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, anytime.
It's our pleasure. It's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. Give someone the gift of sight. Dr. Blake Williamson gets to do that every single day. What a great job. What a great job to get to thrill people every single day and give them the gift of sight. You wake up in the morning and you reach for the glasses, you shove contacts in your eyes. You're at dinner and you're reaching for those readers, or you're at your computer, or you're reading a book, got to reach for those readers on your shirt, on your head, hanging around your neck, on an end table. You want to ditch that life forever? The Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Couple of news notes, tidbits from Darin Rizzi's media availability as the Saints have wrapped up practice. Chris Olave was back at practice on Thursday, which is great to see. They didn't put Olave on IR. So 3 games to go. There's at least the possibility that Chris Olave returns. Now, the official injury report is out, and Olave was limited on Thursday. So back at practice, but officially limited. Here's your list of players that did not practice. Derek Carr, as we know, Alvin Kamara with the groin injury, Bub Means, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which is concerning because you're already thin at receiver, and then Chase Young with an illness. Juwan Johnson, Chris Olave limited. Kool-Aid McKinstry with the shoulder injury had the stinger, but was a full, on the injury report, but was a full participant on Thursday. The things that stand out, obviously, are the receivers, but also Alvin Kamara. Because one of the things Darren Rizzi said when meeting with reporters after practice is that Kamara's injury is more severe than they originally thought. Oh, you have it? Okay, all right, here was Darren Rizzi after practice.
The situation with Alvin right now, it was probably a little bit more significant than we initially thought. So, he's going to be week to week at the moment. I'm going to be honest, doesn't look great for this week. We'll see what the next day brings. But that doesn't look great at the moment for this coming week. But we'll see if that's going to be a multiple week. We'll kind of play that one by ear, whether that's going to be multiple weeks but right now he doesn't look great for this week.
Again, also underscores why they added Clyde Edwards-Helaire on Wednesday, where you've got Kendre Miller, but if you're not going to have Kamara, that's a veteran back that you could activate on game day. You assign to the active roster. As for now, Clyde is on the practice squad, but can be signed to the active roster. One thing that could be interesting is if Derek Carr does go to IR, that frees up a spot on the active roster, and theoretically, Clyde could take that spot. They'll figure it out and make it work however they need to, but the really disappointing part for Kamara, 950 rushing yards on the season. He's 50 away from his first 1,000-yard season with 3 to go. Seemed like a foregone conclusion. He was going to eclipse that mark for the first time in his career. And now that's very much up in the air. But we'll keep you posted. All right, let me knock out a quick break. Come back, go around the SEC. Darin Tietgen in 15 minutes for our Fantasy Blitz. Fantasy playoffs are underway. You want to win your league? Let Darin help. whotostart.net, who2start.net. Get your questions in. Start lining them up. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Hey, if you're starting to think about events in 2025 that you know you're going to have coming up, remember the Renaissance Hotel right there on Bluebonnet. Convenient to everything. I mean, Bluebonnet's right in the middle of town. I mean, less a minute from I-10 right there at Bluebonnet, across from the Mall, Louisiana, Perkins Row. And they have such a gorgeous, sprawling space. From their grand ballroom, which can accommodate events for up to 500 people, all the way down to their really elegant boardrooms where maybe you're having a corporate business meeting and you need a dozen people with all the tech and amenities you need, from whiteboards and plugins and everything. They got it all at the Renaissance Hotel. So if it's a wedding reception, that fundraiser, that school function, that awards banquet, whatever event you have coming up at the Renaissance Hotel, we're in the business of saying yes. So contact the Renaissance Hotel.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
.1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust are bringing you the ultimate holiday gift with our Home for the Holidays sweepstakes. Imagine 2025 with your rent or mortgage covered up to $18,000. We're here to make your holidays a whole lot brighter. Just sign up at 1045ESPN.com and you could be living stress-free next year. The winner will be notified on Friday, December 20th.
Can we win?
I would like to win that, actually, yes.
I would love to win that.
That'd be great.
That's a great prize.
Yeah.
You know what? Considering this is a radio tatership, I hereby declare we can win the prize.
All right.
And by we, I mean me.
Well, hold on. I want in.
Not interested in what you want, Muse. This is a radio tatership, not a radioocracy, and I am no benevolent monarch here. I am a iron-fisted radio tater.
That's just a really funny. Yeah, I was about to say, slam the table with the iron fist.
Got to.
You can't just not do that.
You can hold your iron fist up in the air. Ha!
Yeah.
That's a good prize. How do you win that again, by the way?
You just enter at 1045ESPN.com. You got to get in there now, though. December 20th, man. That's
coming up.
That's tomorrow.
Oh, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the deadline to enter?
Tomorrow, the winner's notified.
Oh.
So you got to get it. You can still enter, but you got to get in now.
Hold on, I got to go enter.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, while you're at 1045ESPN.com, you'll also notice... If you would. Oh, the Bowl Pick'em is going on as well. The Hooters Bowl Pick'em is going on.
It is.
What else we got? A lot of good stuff.
You're registering for the Bowl Pick'em right now. You have to make your picks by December 27th.
I don't know, Muse. I don't see the home. Did they? Maybe the deadline to enter is. Is the deadline to enter passed? Muse?
The Read has never had a deadline to enter on it.
Yeah, I don't see it up there right now, Muse. I think you screwed up. I think you did. Muse, you screwed up.
Someone's gonna win
Off
mortgage.
with your head.
Okay.
But you can go sign up for the LouisianaSports.net daily e-blast. So every morning, 9 a.m. Central Time, boom, you get an email with news, notes, headlines that you need right to your inbox. Totally free, LouisianaSports.net. Okay, shut up, Paul. Off with your head. I'm in a radio tater mood today.
I don't think anyone heard that, though. They're just thinking you're yelling at Paul.
Oh.
Paul coughed.
Paul was coughing, yeah. All right, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Kentucky Wildcats.
Hey, remember Zach Calzada? Remember that guy?
I do. So do Bama fans.
Woo! Dynamite drop. That was the only loss Nick Saban had to an unranked team during his time at Bama after his first season. How about that? Anyway, Zach Calzada leaving Incarnate Word, heading to Kentucky. Previously was at Texas A&M and Auburn. So our guy's getting around, former 3-star prospect. Kentucky right back in the portal again. If at first you don't succeed. Dust yourself off and try again. That was a song, Muse.
The Auburn Tigers.
You can dust it off and try again. Remember that? Try again. If at first you don't succeed.
I don't know what you're...
You don't remember that?
I didn't know it was a song. No, I just thought it was a saying.
All right, bump in the next break with it.
All right.
LSU linebacker Xavier Atkins. He's headed to the Plains. Played in 5 games this year, totaling 31 snaps. The thing that we told you that really sucked for Xavier Atkins, he played 4 games, then played 1 snap against Alabama, which cost him his redshirt year. But Xavier Atkins will have 3 years of eligibility remaining.
The Florida Gators.
5-star wide receiver Dallas Wilson has asked to be released from his transfer to Oregon so he can sign with Florida. That according to his agent, Vernell Brown of Elite Sports. Elite Sports, the I is a 1. Oh, that. He told that to Gators Online. See what they did there? They put a 1 in place of the I.
Yeah. Kind of like the Big Ten logo?
Yep, like that.
Just like that?
The B1G.
Yeah.
Like that. 6'2", 193, 5-star, number 2 receiver in the country, number 29 overall recruit. Asked to be let out of his letter of intent from Oregon so he can go to Florida.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Tennessee transfer linebacker Jalen Smith is committed to Mississippi State. Had 34 tackles, 1.5 for loss for Tennessee in 2024. That was 8th on the team. He was a 3-star recruit, the number 42 linebacker in the country.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas has landed a couple of starting offensive linemen in the portal. Corey Robinson is, after being at Georgia Tech the last 3 seasons, after starting his career at Kansas, Corey Robinson is going to Arkansas. And then UCF offensive lineman Caden Kittler, he's also going to Arkansas.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Poor Virginia Tech. When our guy Andy Bitter was here talking about Virginia Tech, I was like, man, you're getting poached by SEC schools, but you're getting poached by Vanderbilt and Missouri. Anyway, Vanderbilt lands Virginia Tech wide receiver transfer Chance Fitzgerald. He's a Tennessee native, so he's going to his home state. Had offers from Kentucky and Michigan State as well. Former 4-star recruit.
The Missouri Tigers.
Mizzou pillaging Virginia Tech also. No, Mizzou, they did, but Courtney Crutchfield, who's a Mizzou receiver, he's entering the transfer portal. Former 4-star receiver out of Pine Bluff, part of the 2024 class, the 4th member of the 2024 class to enter the portal. He's expected to go back to Arkansas and play for the Hogs. Okay, there you have it. That is around the SEC. We're brought to you by Decision Critical. Love telling you about Decision Critical. Y'all, holidays are here. You're less than a week away from Christmas. You're doing a lot of partying. Like, we have our company Christmas party tonight. Listen, you want to get your body ready for that Christmas party, or if you need a little recovery, if you know what I mean, IV hydration therapy is an awesome way to do it, both before and after a party, for those mornings when you don't feel great, or if you're feeling under the weather. Staying hydrated is a great way to prevent and get over illness. Decision Critical, they'll come to you. It's a concierge nursing service. They'll come to your office. They'll come to your home. You want an IV? You don't have to go schedule online to go to a place. They'll just come to you, give you an IV, and then leave. It's so convenient. It's Decision Critical. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Got to go to the Decision Critical, company Christmas party last week. So great to see all my friends over at Decision Critical. Blasia and her team are so awesome. They have 50 nurses on staff right now, taking care of everything from birth to end-of-life care, and doing it at your convenience. It's decisioncriticalbr.com. Okay, let's knock out a quick break. Fantasy Blitz, Darin Tietgen, he'll be here with us next. If you're trying to win your fantasy football league, check out our guys at whotostart.net. They'll help you out, answer all your questions. Adam Rittenberg, in about 30 minutes, he covers the Big Ten for ESPN.com. You got 4 Big Ten teams in the playoff. Playoff gets underway tomorrow, by the way, y'all. So we'll talk about that with Adam Rittenberg here in about 30 minutes. And Mike Triplett in hour 3. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Maybe it's beautiful diamond-studded earrings. Maybe it's that tennis bracelet. Maybe it's an elegant watch, timepiece. There's so many gifts So many gift ideas at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. Now listen, if you're not sure what to get, that's okay. And they have experts on staff at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry that know everything about everything they sell. And most importantly, they're great at making you feel comfortable. Like, guys, we don't always walk into jewelry stores. Like, that's just not something we commonly do all the time. So don't be intimidated. Just go into Lee Michaels. They can help. Start at their website if you want, because they got a great selection of Christmas and holiday gifts that you could search, gifts for under $1,000 or anything you might be looking for. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our...
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
What you think, Muse?
I like the beat. It's good.
We're introducing Muse to Aaliyah.
Yep.
Rip. Got to tell you an Aaliyah story.
All right.
I can't do it right now because we got to do Fantasy Blitz, but I'll do it next hour. The day Aaliyah, it's a the day Aaliyah died story. After the break. Fantasy Blitz, hit it.
After Further Review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.net.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.net. The Fantasy Football Blitz.
Who the bitten?
This is the Fantasy Football Blitz. Powered by whotostart.net.
All right, let's get it. All y'all out there trying to win money or win bragging rights or maybe a little bit of both, let our guys at whotostart.net help. Start.net, who2start.net. Darin Tietgen's here to answer your fantasy football questions. So get him in. Email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Darin, how are you, man?
Doing good. It's always doing a little bit of both, money and bragging rights.
Wait, do me a favor. Yeah, pickup music, that was really muffled. I couldn't really understand anything Darin said. So we're going to see if we can get Darin a little clearer there. And I want to delve into, what a very, very critical week, obviously in the NFL, but obviously for everybody still playing in their fantasy football leagues because most everyone's in the fantasy football playoffs right now in week 16, which kicks off tonight with an NFC West battle with Denver and the Chargers. All right, we got Darin back. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I was saying, and it's always good to have both bragging rights and a little bit of cash.
Yes, both are amazing. And candidly, I probably prefer bragging rights a little more. Anyway, let's start with tonight. Denver at the Chargers. What are we looking at tonight?
This could be a little bit of a lower scoring game. Both got some good defenses out there. Guy I'm looking at having a decent game, especially in PPR formats, would be Javonte Williams. It sounds like Jaleel McLaughlin's not going to play, so Williams or Javonte steps back into the starting role there, and he'll have a full-time role. So he'll give away to estimate a little bit, but look for him to catch a few balls out of the backfield and have a decent game for the Broncos.
We always ask about sleepers as well. What are we looking at?
Yeah, I got a couple for you this week. Looks like Tony Pollard for the Titans banged up a little bit. Tajay Spears last week got the majority of the action, even with Pollard healthy. With a banged up Pollard, look for Tajay Spears to have a fairly good game against the Colts. And then wide receiver wise, we like Wan'Dale Robinson. Looks like Drew Lock's going to start at quarterback for the Giants and going up against a pretty bend but don't break type of Falcon defense. So look for Wan'Dale Robinson to get a few targets here this weekend.
I don't know that we've gotten anything on Patrick Mahomes yet, but what if he doesn't play and people need help at quarterback?
Yeah, if you're really going to, I was in a couple.
Actually, let me correct myself. I just saw on Twitter, Rappaport, the Chiefs have removed Mahomes from the injury report, so he's
that's what I was hearing.
He's good to go.
It sounded like he was a full participant this entire week, which is just amazing considering that he had even if it's a mild high ankle sprain, it's still a high ankle sprain. So good for Patrick to be back in there, and he's a warrior, man.
All right, let's get to your questions. Email us, tweet us, text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Daryl said, sir, which two out of Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Devontae Adams, and Cooper Kupp, who to start?
Probably go with Thomas and Adams there. Kupp's definitely the odd man out. Stafford's been really leaning on Puka Nacua quite a bit. Yeah, definitely go Adams and Thomas there. Those guys are hot.
All right, Ray Moore, PPR 8 needs help at wide receiver. He's got Sutton or McConkey. Who to start?
Yeah, both these guys obviously going tonight. Both should put up a decent amount of points. Kind of liking Ladd a little bit more, especially in the PPR format. Patrick Surtain won't travel with Ladd across the field, so he could pick up that secondary cornerback. So look for Herbert to target Ladd McConkey quite a bit tonight. So I think you go on McConkey there.
Nate's in the semifinals. He's got JSN or Zay Flowers. Who to start?
Yeah, that's JSN. I like Flowers. Don't really like the matchup as much for him, but it sounds like Geno Smith was removed from the injury report for the Seattle Seahawks, which is a good thing for JSN. So I think you're going JSN there.
Tucker Kraft or Zach Ertz?
Yeah, I think Ertz is kind of fighting off a little bit of an injury. Don't really like the matchup as well, so I think you're going the other way there.
Let's see. This is Flex Help. Tyrone Tracy, DJ Moore, or Flowers. Who to start?
Well, that's a tough one. I think if you, at this point you're kind of swinging for the fences, and DJ Moore in the bad matchup last week still had eight catches. I like the matchup a little bit more against a real banged up Lions defense. So I think Moore is going to be your play.
Matthew, PPR League, Juwan Jennings or Brian Thomas Jr., who to start?
Yeah, I like Jennings, but Thomas is just way too hot. Mac Jones, obviously a backup quarterback, but he's fighting for a job himself, so he's going to be targeting Thomas quite a bit. Thomas is a top 10 wide receiver this week, so Thomas is your pick there.
Darin Tietgen, who2start.net, the numeral 2, who2start.net. Most leagues, I would assume, semifinals this week?
Yeah, most of we're probably wrapping up next week. Most leagues don't play that final week just because there's so many things up in the air. Not a lot of teams fighting from us, so you're probably looking at your semifinals here this week, and then next week we're in the finals.
Darin Tietgen, who2start.net. Appreciate it as always, man. Have a good one. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
We appreciate Darin Tietgen, who2start.net. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Y'all, if you're near, or we are near the end of the year, obviously, get on by and see our friends at South Point Volkswagen. If you're trying to snag a deal at the end of the year, great time to do it. The best savings yet on their most popular models. You can get the 2024 Volkswagen Atlas or Crossport, which is what I drive, for 0.9% APR for 60 months or up to $3,500 customer bonus. If you prefer the Tiguan, 0% APR or up to $2,500 customer bonus. Get by South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, or online to see all the deals at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, our Thursday shows roll along here. We're presented by Decision Critical. Could Derek Carr be out in New Orleans after this season? One ESPN NFL insider is suggesting it could happen. We'll talk about that when we come back. Hour 2 is After SportsCenter on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Duplessis Builders, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Hey, listen, if you're thinking of building that pool, that backyard paradise, that outdoor kitchen, Duplessis Builders. That's where you go. Derek Duplessis, LSU alum, degree in mechanical engineering with a minor in aerospace engineering. Dude's basically an astronaut building your pool. That's incredible. But they will never cut corners. It's one of the things Derek's very upfront about. So if you want, like, with every passing day, and I get it, man, next week is Christmas, but with every passing day, you're closer to swim season. And the process going through that build out, you got to start with the design, and then you got to do permitting, and then you got to get on the schedule, and then you got to build the pool, and then you got to do the landscape. Like, it's a long process. You want to be swimming by the start of swim season. Call today at duplessisbuilders.net.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. After another full practice today, his 3rd day in a row, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes will play against the Texans Saturday. Mahomes is shaking off a mild high right ankle sprain. Tonight, it's the 2 teams behind the Chiefs in the AFC West, the Broncos and the Chargers. Right now, they're both in playoff position, and the Broncos clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight. As for the Chargers, ESPN's Chris Canty.
I'm wondering when the excuses stop for Justin Herbert. Because people are making plenty of excuses for this guy not being able to get it done. And I'm just like, all right, well, now he's got the head coach. That's not an excuse. He's got a defense. That's not an excuse. They've got special teams. That's not an excuse. Cameron Dicker is one of the best kickers in the entire sport.
Chris Canty on Unsportsmanlike. Steelers wideout George Pickens out for a 3rd straight game with a sore hamstring. Pittsburgh plays the Ravens Saturday. Pass rusher TJ Watt will play for the Steelers. After a 17-year estrangement, Sammy Sosa and the Cubs clear the air. In a statement today, Sosa apologized for making mistakes during his career.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Friday, is Ryan Day's job on the line against Tennessee? Could he become a candidate for an NFL job if he wins a natty? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Used to. And Mr. Toby Tom, play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Adam Rittenberg from ESPN will be with us here in about 15 minutes. College football playoff gets underway Friday with Notre Dame against Indiana. 4 Big Ten teams make the playoff, the most of any league. Adam Rittenberg's covered the Big Ten for ESPN for a long time. He'll join us to preview those games here in about a dozen minutes from right now. Thursday is when the Saints week really got underway. Of course, they play on Monday Night Football, so the schedule's all bumped back a day. They were back on the practice field. There was media availability. The first injury report came out. Derek Carr, obviously a DNP for New Orleans. But Darren Rizzi did make it official that if Carr isn't able to go, which at this point feels like a long shot, that it's going to be what we all think it would be.
If Derek's unable to play this week, Spencer Rattler will be the starting quarterback for us.
Obviously, he gave us a spark this past game in the second half. Had a real good practice day today. So that's where we are with him.
So the other big question, and that's no surprise, right? We all saw Rattler play great. He started 3 times earlier in the year when Carr was out. We saw Jake Haener get his opportunity, and it was all-time atrocious. Rattler came in, led 4 scoring drives in the second half. He's clearly higher ceiling. He's the better physical talent. He's got all the things we've talked about, and he's got more experience now. So, yes, it's the right decision. I don't think either of these guys will have a lick of success on Monday Night Football in 20-degree weather and snow at Lambeau, but someone's got to start. I'd rather go get Spencer Rattler all these reps. Now, Rizzy was asked, though, so this week, what does Carr have to do or prove to be able to play?
Well, the good news is he had a really good day today. I think he's got to put a couple of good days in a row tomorrow, or a couple of good days in a row. As I said to you guys in the beginning of the week with the extra day, we were kind of hoping that he would get some significant improvement. I would say he's going to have to, by Saturday, probably have to get a practice in order to do that. It's been significant time now. He's been down. So we would want to see him get out there and practice and go through all the, functions, like I said before, as a quarterback. So, but again, when you guys asked me the other day, or somebody asked me if it was a reach that he was going to play again this season. And by no means is it a reach that he'll be back out there at some point.
Okay, so there's some conflict there. Darin Rizzi continues to double down, saying it's not a reach, but we continue to see these reports come out. The report Monday was from Rappaport that Derek Carr is still a couple of weeks away from testing contact, and if that's the case, that's the end of the season. So it remains unlikely to see that he would get out there and play, but Rizzi continues to double down on this.
I have had multiple conversations with Derek. Apparently, there's been a bunch of things written the last few days. Here's the situation with Derek. Derek Carr wants to play this season. There's absolutely zero doubt about that. He's in here every day doing everything that he possibly can from a rehab standpoint to get himself back on the field. He had actually his best day today. I appreciate and respect the fact that he wants to come back and play. And so therefore, that's why this thing's day to day. We're not going to put him in harm's way. We're going to make sure that he's able to go out there and function. And that's really what it comes down to right now. When he can fully function and go out there and function all the duties as a quarterback, he'll be back on the field. But apparently there was some, reports out there about him being done for the season and things like that. If he was done for the season, we would have put him on IR by now and we would have shut him down. That's just not the case.
I think that makes sense. You also have to have a reason to put him on IR. And maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire could be that reason. If Clyde's going to play Monday, you got to sign him to the active roster, means someone has to be cut, waived, or moved to IR. I mean, you have to make a roster spot. Maybe that's Derek Carr. Maybe not. And I can understand from Darin Rizzi's perspective, he's trying to win this job full time. Derek Carr gives him the best opportunity to do that, so I get it. One more, though, about the quarterbacks. I do want to talk about Carr's future in New Orleans in a second here, because Dan Graziano over at ESPN wrote something interesting about the Saints potentially moving on from Derek Carr after the season, which I don't think is realistic, but I'll share what Graz had to say here in just a second. But, Rizzi was asked about the 3 starts that Rattler had early in the season and how much he learned from that, how much he can improve.
I think he learned a lot of things. The thing that probably impressed me the most of that whole performance today was probably that 2-minute drill. I really liked how under the pressure, he performed, and I didn't see a sense of panic at all. I thought the last 3 games he was out there, like any rookie quarterback, there was a little bit of, some times where he looked a little panicky. I saw him much more relaxed. I saw him much more in control. I saw a lot more leadership out of him, and so that was the impressive part. Now, maybe coming off the bench with nothing to lose, kind of running around and gunslinging, but that's kind of been his thing, right? That's what's made him the guy that he is. It's kind of been his MO, his whole career. So hopefully now when he knows he's preparing today, so he took all the reps today with the ones, and we're going to kind of get him ready to go if Derek can't.
I don't think we see Derek Carr again the rest of this year. That's totally speculative on my part. His hand's fractured in 2 places. He's a quarterback. You have to be able to squeeze the ball, hold the ball through contact. I don't know how that's possible. You want to numb his hand, fine. You have the same issue. So he won't feel pain. He also won't feel the ball. I could totally understand Derek Carr wanting to play next week against his former team, the Raiders. It just doesn't feel realistic to have a quarterback with a broken hand out there playing. Totally speculative on my part. It also doesn't feel realistic that the Saints would move on from Derek Carr after this year because of the massive dead cap number that they would have to own with Derek Carr if they were to trade or cut him. Plus, Derek Carr has a no-trade clause in his contract, so that makes that even more complicated. But Dan Graziano over at ESPN kind of broke down some of the considerations for the Saints when it could become, or what it could be with Derek Carr. And all this, I think, is contingent on Spencer Rattler playing well. If Rattler starts the next 3 games and plays very well, then I think all of this becomes more of a realistic consideration. But Graziano wrote, Carr's under contract for $40 million in 2025. Of that, $10 million is a roster bonus. That's roster bonus that's already fully guaranteed and will pay out in March no matter what. The remaining $30 million becomes guaranteed against injury and is fully guaranteed at the start of the new league year in March. So if the Saints want to move on from Carr after the season, they'd have to release him before the $30 million becomes fully guaranteed. And again, that solidifies on the 3rd day of the league year on March 14th. Hard to imagine a team trading for Derek Carr. Like, remember, you're not just trading for the player, you're trading for the contract. Why would a team give you an asset to take on this awful contract for an aging player that's a bottom, middle tier to upper, lower tier quarterback? Carr would also have to waive his no-trade clause, and there's not really a lot of reason for him to do that. So, for the Saints to save money, he would have to be designated as a post-June 1 release, and they could save $30 million by deferring his salary to 2026. So that helps you this year, but again, you're still going to have a massive number for Derek Carr that follows you around. And then you look at 2025, the Saints are already about $63 million over the cap for 2025. Look, if you had a team that was willing to do a deal to trade for Derek Carr, that would be awesome. I just don't think that's realistic. And I also don't think it's realistic that the Saints are going to eat $50 million in dead cap money to not have Derek Carr on the team. What is more likely, more plausible, is that Carr is around for next year. Hopefully, Spencer Rattler plays really well over these next 3 games and can be your guy next year. And Derek Carr is just a really expensive backup in the league. And then you just figure it out after that. You release him after 2025 and you figure out what your long-term future is going to be. But it makes it much easier when you have a starting quarterback on a rookie contract. What you cannot do is continue to perpetuate these awful fiscal habits and practices of kicking the can down the road, which everybody says. You can't continue to perpetuate that because you're never going to get out of this situation if you keep doing that. So the best thing to do, yes, if someone wants to trade for Derek Carr, awesome. I just don't see somebody willingly giving you top dollar for your old jalopy. That's just not realistic in life. So, I mean, ask yourself that. If Derek Carr were on another team, would you want your team to trade for Derek Carr and his contract? Of course not. So, unless if someone's going to give you an asset to take on Derek Carr and his awful contract, which would be awesome, but that's not going to happen, you grin and bear it for another year with Derek Carr, and you find your future in 2026. The possibilities, and I can certainly appreciate Dan Graziano trying to explore them. I just don't think any of them are realistic. All right, it's after further review. College football playoff gets underway on Friday. We'll talk about it with Adam Rittenberg from ESPN when we come back. We're brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore. Of course, a better form of hydration, natural artesian water, and a Louisiana product. But you can find Evermore everywhere. Go to the website, evermore.com, evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com. Hit the store locator, type in your zip code, and you'll find the nearest retailer where you can find Evermore. Of course, you can always order online as well at evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com. Professional athletes, Olympians, they all trust Evermore. Moms and dads trust it as well, and so do I. It's Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com. Okay, quick break. Come back, talk some college football play with Adam Rittenberg of ESPN next.
After further review.
Get Gordon, get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Or call them, 888-8888. Gordon and his great team have offices all over the state of Louisiana, so it does not matter where you are listening or watching right now in the state. Gordon can help you. There's an office nearby. Just give him a buzz, 888-8888. That's 888-8888. Or go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Always encourage you to go to the website because we talk about car wrecks and things of that nature, and that's obviously a big part of what Gordon does. But, man, there's so many different types of cases that they handle, from car wrecks, truck accidents, personal injury, offshore, maritime, workers' compensation cases, all different types of injuries and accidents. Gordon and his team can represent you. So go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
College football playoff gets underway Friday night. Notre Dame hosting Indiana. 4 Big Ten teams in the playoff. Good time to call on Adam Rittenberg from ESPN. Spent a long time covering the Big Ten. Get a little thumbnail on these 4 Big Ten teams in the field. Adam, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Doing well, Matt. How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome. I'm really excited about the playoff to see how this is all going to play out. And it's really exciting that there doesn't seem to be like a true, like, no doubt slam dunk number 1 favorite. Do you see it that way, or do you have a heavy lean in the field of 12?
Yeah, no, I think this is a year without a truly dominant team, although I would say Oregon's the most complete team. I've seen them a couple of times, including in the Big Ten championship. And, you know, there's a reason why they were the only team that ran the table this year. Just no obvious weakness when you look at the line of scrimmage, when you look at a senior quarterback who's played a ton of college football in different spots in big games. And Dylan Gabriel, they've got speed at receiver. They've got ways to attack you with Jordan James on the ground. They're very talented in the secondary. So, I don't think anyone would be surprised if Oregon wins its first national championship, but they're also a vulnerable team that in the right matchup and setting, they're a team that can go down. So I think that's the case for pretty much everybody in this field.
And Oregon also has, I think, arguably the toughest draw of anybody in the field, which is so weird to be the 1 seed and have that. But that's a conversation that everybody's having, obviously, and maybe a convo for another day. But tomorrow we're going to see Indiana against Notre Dame, which is fascinating, Adam, because Indiana is a team that everybody's looked at and said you played one really good team and you lost. I look at Notre Dame and I go, well, you play one ranked team in Army, so what do we really know about the Irish? You're just like flyover view of that game before we get into some of the nuance?
You're right. I'll be heading down there tonight, and so really excited to watch the game tomorrow. I think there's some similarities between, both teams are very good on defense. Both teams are excellent in terms of defending Indiana especially in defending the run. But yeah, they've had interesting schedules. Notre Dame, we're accustomed to them playing more elite teams, being tested. I still wonder how they handle some in-game situations if it's a close game. Indiana, we've seen a little bit more of that lately with the Michigan game. That was a really tight game at the end that they were able to hold off Michigan. So, again, veteran quarterbacks who transferred in, very good coaching, even though Marcus Freeman and Kurt Cignetti are at very different stages of their careers. So excited to see how this one pans out.
Do you think weather matters at all in that game?
I don't think, because both teams are from the area, obviously both within the state, it matters a whole lot. Indiana had some weather for its regular season finale against Purdue, and they still scored 66 points. So they're not a team that I think will struggle in those conditions. Notre Dame runs the ball really well, and typically you have to be able to do that if it's going to be severe. I think by the time the game kicks off, there'll be some weather tonight. It's one reason why I'm hitting the road here in a little bit and in the morning, but I don't think it's going to be a snowfall issue during the game. So I think it just depends on what the field is like and the conditions, there at Notre Dame. But I don't think either of these teams are going to melt down, so to speak, with less than ideal weather conditions.
Lake effect snow in South Bend can be a thing. Having lived there for a year, it'll come up on you, but it'll be fascinating to watch Notre Dame Stadium under the lights in a playoff game. But you're going to have the opposite effect at 11 a.m. Central on Saturday with Penn State and SMU. Adam, I think everybody got a glimpse of just how good SMU really is with the comeback against Clemson, even though they fell short. Do you feel like with these contrasting styles, Penn State rough and rugged, SMU maybe a little more high-flying and finesse, that you have a lean one way with either of these two teams with their styles against the other?
Well, and actually Penn State's become a little bit more like SMU this year with Andy Kotelnicki coming in as coordinator. I mean, he's a really creative guy. He's used Tyler Warren all over the field. He used Bro Prabula, the backup quarterback. I mean, him going into the portal is not a insignificant factor here, because he was part of the game plan week in and I think Penn State, certainly from a size standpoint, overall talent standpoint, you have to give them an edge. And I think their environment should really be able to help them, even though they would have loved to have this game, at night when I think that equals 3 or 4 points at least. SMU, this is a new setting for them, going to the cold, going to 107,000. They also are a team that is experienced, that's won a lot of games in different conferences. They play well together. They're a complete team. When I do my future power rankings and kind of project out for 3 years for offenses and defenses and quarterbacks, SMU was on all those lists this year. So in many ways, it's not that surprising that they were able to transition well into the ACC and make it all the way to the college football playoff. So I don't think Rhett Lashley's team will be intimidated. I just don't know if they're good enough to beat Penn State. I was actually quite impressed, Matt, even in defeat, of how Penn State performed against Oregon, especially from an offensive standpoint. I didn't think they could go score for score with the Ducks, and they pretty much did after a tough start. And if they do that, I don't think SMU will be able to keep up with them.
White out in a day game. That'll be weird to see. But it'll be a great environment, no doubt. Still, the on-campus things are going to be awesome. I think everyone is expecting and anticipating the same thing on Saturday night. I know we get Clemson, Texas as sort of the matinee, but Tennessee, Ohio State is the night game, maybe the marquee game on the calendar, the one the names on the marquee that everybody wants to see. I think the big question here, Adam, is Ohio State bouncing back from the loss to Michigan. Then also, did Michigan expose something in Ohio State that Tennessee might be able to take advantage of?
Well, I think you could certainly draw some parallels defensively between Michigan and Tennessee. I don't think they're the exact same defenses. I don't think they have the same strengths. But overall, Tennessee's defensive front is really good, and so is Michigan. And if Ohio State comes out with a similar game plan, I think we'll all be asking that question: what the heck were they doing on offense with that strategy against Michigan? And so if it's a repeat of that, and they're so committed to trying to be tough and run the ball and between the tackles, I think it could be a rough night for the Buckeyes. They have to use Jeremiah Smith. They have to use Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, and their talent on the perimeter to attack Tennessee downfield. I think Ohio State needs to lean into being a finesse team. That's okay. Those teams have won national championships. This Ryan Day tough guy act, it just isn't a good look, and I don't think that would work against such a talented Tennessee defense, because I don't think Tennessee is going to score a lot on Ohio State. Ohio State's very talented. People don't talk enough about their defense and the job that Jim Knowles has done, but it's really this offense, and if we see a repeat of Michigan from a schematic standpoint, strategy standpoint, they could be in for a really long night.
Adam, you got a thought, just a thumbnail or a pick on Clemson, Texas? How you think that goes?
Yeah, I think Texas will win. But I will say this: Clemson, I think of all the playoff teams, they could really play the loosest. They're a house money team, totally, in my mind. No one thought after they lost big to Louisville at home that Clemson would be sitting here in the college football playoff. And by the way, there's only two coaches in this deal that have won multiple national championships. One's Kirby Smart, and the other's Dabo Swinney. So he understands how to prepare his teams for the postseason. And is this one of his most talented teams? Absolutely not. But they are improved. Cade Klubnik is improved. He's an Austin native. Maybe he gets hot and outplays Quinn Ewers. I just don't think that Clemson, defensively will be able to contain Texas for 4 quarters. And I think Texas has the edge defensively against Clemson. So I have Texas winning this one somewhere between 8 to 12 points.
Yeah, all these games are about a touchdown or more on the line. But do you have a which road team do you think has the best chance of going on the road and pulling an upset?
Well, in some ways, it's Tennessee if they can start hot, because we know that stadium yes, it's home for Ohio State, but we saw what happened the last time they were at home. We saw the boos and the expletives and the crazy scene there against Michigan. If Tennessee can start off well, they have a real opportunity because they're talented enough to beat Ohio State. I also like the way that Indiana matches up against Notre Dame, because one stat that no one's talking about, or very few people, Indiana leads the nation in rushing defense by 13 yards a game. That's what Notre Dame does well. They're not a great passing team. If they can contain Notre Dame's running attack, make Riley Leonard think twice about running the ball, they're going to be in this game, I think, until the end. So I like Indiana and I like Tennessee out of those 4 to make it interesting.
Adam Rittenberg, ESPN, will be there in South Bend for Notre Dame against Indiana. What a scene that'll be tomorrow night. Adam, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the playoff.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. You too. Thanks for having me.
It's always our pleasure. Adam Rittenberg from ESPN. Good stuff. We appreciate that. It is After Further Review. Thanks for being with us here. Of course, you want to bet on the playoff, you can. You do it over at DraftKings. We talked about a lot of those lines and spreads that are out there. You want to get involved, you can. We got auto locks coming up a little bit as well. We always give you Jimmy's best plays every single day. So if you want to bet, do it over at DraftKings. Our friends at DraftKings are just awesome. We appreciate the partnership that we've had. I mean, ever since sports betting became legal here in Louisiana. And right now, it's the most wonderful time of year. I mean, it's hoops, it's football, it's hockey. You can get in on all the action at the DraftKings Sportsbook. And in the season of giving, we're being gifted college football, basketball, pro football, basketball, hockey too. And new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code Baton Rouge, one word. That's code Baton Rouge for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins, when you bet just $5. Happy holidays from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537. 21 plus, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. So we will have Otterlocks next hour. We've got Lee Sterling in 15 minutes. We get Lee's picks on some of the bowl games this weekend, some NFL action, the college football playoff. Again, professional handicapper, sports bettor Lee Sterling in 17 minutes from right now. Let me knock out a quick break. Muse, Paulie, and I will bring back what to watch, 3 things that we're keeping an eye on this football weekend. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
If you're doing some last-minute shopping, and I might have picked up a thing or two today, boy, all the stores are swamped. You want something easy? Go to Clegg's Nursery. You got a green thumb on your list? That's easy, of course, because you just go get them a Clegg's gift card and let them pick out what they want. Maybe you want a gorgeous citrus tree, something that's beautiful to plant and something that'll last for generations in a family. Check it out over at Clegg's Nursery. You're still looking to decorate for that Christmas party, the office party, whatever it may be. They've got tons of beautiful poinsettias on sale right now as we get closer and closer to Christmas. You want to check them out, $9.99 for poinsettias right now at all 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Y'all, Christmas is a week away. Couldn't be more excited for it. Buy local, shop local. We're less than a week away. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
All right, we'll get to Lee Sterling in a dozen minutes from right now. Big shout out to Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. My friend Blazia does awesome work. 50 nurses on staff. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. Maybe you got surgery coming up. You need someone to sit with you. Maybe you're a parent caring for your elderly parents and you need help at home. Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Learn more, decisioncriticalbr.com. All right, football weekend is upon us. Muse, Paulie, and I tell you three things. We call it What to Watch. Let's do it.
Here's what we're watching this football weekend.
All right, Muse, start us off.
All right, well, we're going to start, obviously, with the college football playoff. Where else would we start? And we'll start with Clemson and Texas. Pretty interested in this game because, I mean, you've kind of seen two different Clemsons this year. The ones who have gotten absolutely drubbed by the SEC teams they've played and the ones that's beat up on the ACC. But the win over SMU to hold off that comeback, impressive. Kate Klubnik's played some good ball. What happens at quarterback with Texas? Is there any truth to the Arch Manning rumblings? Plenty to keep an eye on and a 12-point spread. I don't like Clemson to cover.
Clemson stinks.
I'll also be watching college football playoff. I'll go SMU and Penn State. SMU, many people didn't believe that they should have been there. They should have picked Bama, this and that. Penn State is the 6th seed, I believe. This game is at 11 a.m., so they won't be playing the whole night game in Happy Valley. But Penn State, SMU.
Everybody's watching the playoff. What about the Gasparilla Bowl?
Nah, I'm good.
Florida Tulane. I'm interested in this. DJ Lagway's healthy. I want to see him. Billy Napier got the vote of confidence. He's coming back. 3-game winning streak. Can you make it 4? Listen, Florida's gotten some good portal additions. Tulane, Mintz at their quarterback. He gone. He at Duke now. Yeah. Can Florida finish this season off with a winning record and a nice win in the Gasparilla Bowl?
Is that a flower? Gasparilla?
No. It's a beverage.
Is it really?
No, that's a sarsaparilla. Anyway, just hit the thing.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Michael Penix is going to make his NFL debut this week because Kirk Cousins stinks.
Yep.
And look, everyone kind of pointed and laughed at the Falcons when they drafted Penix 8th overall back in April, and that was a lot of fun. But let's see if it actually pays off. They're in the middle of a playoff push, can still win the division, but it's going to be on the shoulders of a rookie now.
To the NFL, Eagles and Washington. Eagles have won 10 straight, looking to stay alive for the 1 seed. Washington looking to stay alive for the NFC East. If Eagles win, they win the division. Jaden Daniels looking for playoff spots. Eagles. Commanders.
So I believe the team on upset alert in the playoff is Notre Dame. I think Indiana has a great chance to go win that football game. There's been one team all year that forced Notre Dame to throw the football and play from behind, and that was Northern Illinois. And they won the damn game. And that was in South Bend, too, by the way. Kurt Cignetti is a better coach than Marcus Freeman. Indiana's run defense is the best in the country, and I get who do they play? Fine. Notre Dame also has injuries on their offensive line where they're down a couple of starters. I think Indiana, of the road teams, has the best shot to win and pull an upset in the opening round. Go Hoosiers.
Oh, yeah. The Steelers and the Ravens. I blanked for a minute. I'm sorry. Steelers and Ravens.
Oh,
really?
It's 437.
Oh, jeez.
Got it. Well, you do this to yourself.
Really competitive
it's the
division,
wrong time,
the AFC North.
The wrong time to just black out live on air.
Pittsburgh did not look good a week ago against Philadelphia. They looked like they actually kind of got exposed as not a real threat in the playoffs, but they're still leading that division. They've already beaten the Ravens once. Can they bounce back? Rivalry-type game. This time on the road in Baltimore, though. Really interesting. If they do, they take full control of that division.
In the battle of bad teams, I'm going Jacksonville Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean, you better have something good here.
Why, Paul?
If that's the thing you're going to throw out, there better be something good in there. You did this last week, too. You had something. I don't remember what
It's for the same reason.
Okay.
Battle for the worst record in the NFL.
Okay.
Who's going to get the number 1 pick?
Okay.
The Jaguars lost to the Jets last week. The Raiders are fighting with the Giants. They both have 2 losses. So the Raiders have 2 losses. Jaguars have 3 losses. Is anybody worse than the Giants, basically?
Cincinnati against Cleveland, the Battle of Ohio. The Bengals have to win to avoid elimination. It's that simple. And because all three of us picked the Bengals to win the Super Bowl, I am very... Didn't we all?
I did not. I picked the Niners, which also looks terrible, by the way.
We did last year.
Last year.
We all the Bills last year?
No, the Bengals last year. We all picked the Bengals last season to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
You stuck with them this year.
Yeah, I stuck with them this year. So I need the Bengals to stay alive. It's very slim. But Jameis getting benched for DTR. Where's the weirdo, the one-of-one guy?
He's in somebody's DMs right now.
Somebody's DMs right now blowing up about why Jameis is a Hall of Famer and Cleveland is the worst organization ever because they're benching Jameis, who actually stinks. Anyway, DTR will start for the Brownies in the Battle of Cleveland, or Battle of Ohio. Where's Sam Weish? You're not in Cleveland! You don't remember that, do you? You have no idea.
Cleveland!
No idea?
No, I know what you're talking about. Nope.
So Sam Weish was the coach of the Bengals, and years ago the Bengals and the Browns were playing, and people were throwing trash on the field, and Sam Weish got on the mic, the crowd, the stadium, like public address, and was like, "Stop throwing stuff on the field. You're not in Cleveland." Basically,
that's good.
Total,
I like that.
Total shade of Cleveland. Actually, pull that up. We'll play that in the next segment. All right, there you have it. That is what to watch. We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Big shout out to my guy Matthew Newman, my friends over at Optimize. Listen, we talk about generators year round because when you live in Louisiana, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and just when power will go out, when you're going to need a generator. And yes, we talk about it a lot during storm season, and maybe this is the time, right? I tell you all the time, the worst time to think about a generator is when the storm's in the Gulf, when the power's gone out. The time to do it is now, is to be proactive. And listen, it's not just as simple as call and Optimize, they bring you a generator tomorrow. You have to have permitting with the city. You have to call your energy company. There's a lot of stuff that goes through it, where the generator will be placed. There's laws, like it has to be so far away, so many feet from a window or a door or something like that. So start that process today with Optimize. And, of course, you're going to call Optimize because they're the best. They're the generator people. You go to GeneratorPeople.com. There's one thing they do, and they do it better than anyone. They sell, service, and install Generac automatic home standby generators. You want a generator, you want the generator people. You want Optimize. Go to GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. That's GeneratorPeople.com. Be sure to tell them Matt sent you in. All right, it's after further review. College football playoff this weekend. NFL Week 16 kicks off tonight. Every Thursday during the season, we visit with Lee Sterling to get Lee's best bets. We'll do that when we come back next. Mike Triplett in about a half hour. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Y'all, I'm telling you, what an awesome time to get by Rouse's with the holidays here. You're less than a week away from Christmas, and Rouse's has got it working right now. Rouse's is just slinging deals. Merry Christmas, happy holidays from Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Right now, you can get a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham for just 97 cents a pound. That's a savings of $2.52 a pound. Limit one. Tropical golden pineapples, 2 for $3. Savings of $3.98 when you buy two. Fresh 93% lean ground beef, only $3.97 a pound. That's a savings of $3.02 a pound. And wild caught, head on, 10 or 15 count Louisiana shrimp, only $5.99 a pound. Save $2 a pound. Merry Christmas from Rouse's Markets, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Place your bets, gentlemen.
It's time to head to the window.
Don't gamble it all in one place.
This is Lee Sterling's Best Bets, brought to you by Paramount Sports.
All right, let's get to it. ParamountSports.com. Lee Sterling, good enough to join us. How are you, man?
I'm good. Can't complain. Settling in. Normally, I go down to the Keys tomorrow every year until this year and check out an arts and crafts festival in Isla Mirada, take the dog, go out for dinner, eat dinner on the water, but not this year with 3 big college football games. So it's been incredible, crazy run. Normally it takes me about 2.5, 3 hours just to figure out the opt-outs the last couple of years. This year it took me almost 9 hours.
Man, I mean, 2,000 players in the portal. It's something you got to consider when trying to handicap all these bowl games. We'll get to a couple of playoff games that you like in a second, but let's start with a couple of SEC games not involving the playoff. Texas A&M against USC, opt-outs, and obviously Lincoln Riley, little hot seat talk there on the West Coast. A&M a 3-point favorite here. They the right choice?
Yeah, well, I'm going to take a different approach here. So sometimes you got to sift through all these reports, and I'm hearing that both these teams aren't having their ones scrimmage. And if that's the case, usually what happens is tackling is optional. So we've seen some low-scoring games the first couple games, but that was mainly because quarterbacks had left. USC's new quarterback has played, I think, 3 or 4 games now. Texas A&M's quarterback has started, I think, 9 or 10 of the games. So I think both teams are going to have success against less than stellar defenses and a bunch of opt-outs, especially on the defense for both teams here. I think this game's going over 51 total points.
Over 51. We won't get a chance to speak. Well, I guess we will before LSU and Baylor play, but I'm curious your thoughts on the Tiger. And that game's flipped, Lee, where Baylor now is actually, as I saw it, a 1-point favorite, but it's right there around a pick. Think about the Tigers and the Baylor Bears. A lot of opt-outs for LSU could affect the offense for sure.
It could, but, I think that they've got good enough talent here. I think the Baylor secondary, very suspect. They just have not played many good teams that can push the ball down the field. Also very susceptible to screenplays. So if I can pick this stuff out, I think that the coaching staff should be able to also. And usually when you predict they're not going to do much, usually LSU has their best games. I just don't believe in this Baylor team. They also play a defense where they gamble too much, and when that happens, they're going to give up a lot of big plays here. So they've been able to score lately, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think LSU comes out on top. I think they win this game something like 45-37.
Wow, high-scoring game.
Yep.
Lee Sterling with us, Paramount Sports. Let's talk about some of these playoff games that you like. The one that's the big names on the marquee is Ohio State, Tennessee. It's the night game that everyone's probably going to really be interested in on Saturday night. Ohio State's a touchdown favorite. Golly, that Tennessee defense is awful good to be getting a touchdown here. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think their front seven is very good, and they played already at Georgia, so they're not going to be intimidated. A couple other things that I think people have brought up, they're saying the weather could be mid-20s here. But if you've ever been in eastern Tennessee, it gets really cold there. So I don't think that's going to be a problem here. I think they're going to have 30 to 35,000 fans make the trip for this game. And maybe the biggest thing here is Ohio State's offensive line is a mess. They're down 2 starters, 2 of the top 3 guys. They only managed 77 rushing yards in that game against Michigan. I think Tennessee's going to be able to run the ball with Dylan Sampson, almost 1,500 rushing yards and 22 touchdowns. And here we got to figure out, where is Ohio State mentally? Teams that lose as a 19.5-point favorite or more, the next game, 37-67 against the spread. Wrong team favorite. I like Tennessee straight up.
Wow.
26-24. See you, Ryan Day.
Hey, by the way, Lee, Saturday, the high in Knoxville's 39, the low is 27. So the whole narrative about Tennessee, in the car, you're spot on with that.
Yeah.
Let me ask about Texas and Clemson. This is the biggest spread that we have in the playoff game. Texas at home, laying 12 against Clemson, who might just be happy to be there. They played the system. They won their conference. They're in, but here's your reward. You get to go to Austin as a 12-point dog.
Okay, so I think something's wrong with Quinn Ewers. We've watched a couple of these quarterbacks, watched Kirk Cousins, and 3 or 4 games ago saying, he's got a dead arm. Something's going on. He's not moving like he used to, and it's played out. I think they should have made the move and gone with Arch Manning. I just don't trust Quinn Ewers at this point, and the numbers bear it out. Their offense, 106th in the country out of 134 teams in red zone scoring percentage. So the game plan is set out. Clemson's D just wants to keep everything in front of them, then shrink the field in the red zone. And here's maybe the biggest thing people forget. Kids that come and get to come back and play in their hometown. Cade Klubenik from Austin, Westlake. So this kid's going to be jacked and ready to go. I also like their offensive coordinator, Garrett Riley, better than Texas offensive coordinator Kyle Flood, a Greg Schiano protege. Just think he's too conservative. I think 12 points is too much here. I like Texas to win the game, 20-16, but I think 12 points might be a little too heavy.
Low scoring, too, 20-16.
Yeah.
See how it all goes. We'll get a Monday Night Football pick, Saints-Packers, here in a second. Your free play, though, Florida-Tulane. I just told the guys I'm actually interested in this Florida-Tulane game in the Gasparilla Bowl. Florida's a 13-point favorite. That's the free play. How do they get it?
Yep, just call 800-400-9741. First 5 people that call today, we'll give them the game for free. This is a client play, 800-400-9741. We have another game also tonight and tomorrow. I just want to say thank you for everyone who has listened to the segment this year and also has gone to the website, ParamountSports.com. If they use the code word free, when they go to the website and click on purchase picks, when you check out, put free, the word free in the box, absolutely free. My play tonight and my client play tomorrow. Hopefully I can win for them, and if I do, they're going to want to consider me for the future. ParamountSports.com.
ParamountSports.com. ParamountSports.com. Again, use that code free at the website, and if you want to play for the Gasparilla Bowl, 800-400-9741. Like, it really is that easy. You call, it's a recorded message. Lee just gives you the pick. 800-400-9741. All right, Lee, Monday Night Football. Man, Packers a 2-touchdown favorite. It's a massive number, but it might be snowing. Derek Carr's likely not going to play. Alvin Kamara's out. So what are we looking at here? Like, why should we care at all about watching the Saints and the Packers other than to win some money?
Well, we actually had them last week, so everyone was laughing at me at halftime. I thought that was going to be the last game that they were going to play hard here. With, like you said, the weather, it could be frightful here. they are lacking in impactful offensive skill players. The number of drop passes just keeps going up by the receivers by the day here, and the defense hanging in there. But when you play in cold weather, you got to tackle in that kind of weather. Tough to emulate that in practice here. So Green Bay, they've got like 4 or 5 receivers, all pretty much the same. They're able to usually find the weakness in the defense if you try to double any of them. So I like Green Bay here. Weather will be a big factor, 31-13.
Green Bay lay in the 2 touchdowns, probably a good pick. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, ParamountSports.com. Again, go to the website, use that code FREE, and also you could dial up 800-400-9741, 800-400-9741. Thank you, Lee. Merry Christmas, man.
Sounds good. Take care.
It's our pleasure. Lee Sterling. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over Louisiana. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. Hitting the road for Christmas? Before you do, make sure you get that thing looked at. Oil change, tire rotated, squeaking, brakes, alignment, whatever it is. Check engine light on before you hit the road. My parents driving up to Kansas. We have made good use of Shawbills and their expert technician. So I had to buy a tire this week at Shawbills after Erica hit a curb and exploded one of her tires. Doesn't matter. Name brand tires, wholesale prices. They do it all. They do it better than anyone at Shawbills. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. A little breaking news here as we wrap up hour number 2. On 3 has the wrong graphic on their graphic. There's a picture of Carson Beck who's out, but they have the Notre Dame and Indiana graphic. Well, no, I guess that is right because they'll play the winner of Notre Dame and Indiana. That's what it is. Okay. Because Georgia has a bye. That's okay. Never mind. The graphic is correct. I don't know. You see a picture of Carson Beck and you have the Notre Dame and Indiana logos next to it. It's like, that's not who he plays for.
He doesn't play for either of those teams.
But Georgia will play the winner of Notre Dame and Indiana in the Sugar Bowl, and Carson Beck will be out. Pete Nakos from On 3 reporting. Beck has not been with Georgia at all here during the this prelude to the Sugar Bowl, which will be the quarterfinal round. Carson Beck injured that elbow in the SEC championship game and will not play, according to this report from On 3, against the winner of Notre Dame and Indiana. So Notre Dame, Indiana, Friday night in South Bend. The winner will get Georgia in the Sugar Bowl.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah. They do shutters as well over at Relief Windows. And you know, every day when I talk about Relief Windows, yep, I tell you about windows and doors and siding and all that sort of stuff, and shutters and all that stuff. It's stuff that people need, and it's great. But they're also commodity, right? Lots of people sell windows. And so you could shop around, and you could try to find someone who's going to sell you windows the cheapest. But I want to remind you, what your mama taught you when you were young. You get what you pay for. And it's true in everything in life. It's true with Relief Windows as well. They'll never be the cheapest. If you're just getting quotes, just going to get quotes to shop around, see who's going to be the cheapest, don't even bother. Relief Windows won't be the cheapest, but they'll always be the best. I guarantee it. ReliefWindows.com. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is ready to play Saturday's game against the Texans in spite of that mild high right ankle sprain. He got hurt Sunday against the Browns. NFL Week 16 kicks off with an AFC West matchup tonight. The Chargers hosting the Broncos in Inglewood. ESPN's Jason McCourty.
Justin Herbert, show us that you are the guy going against this Broncos defense that is coming at you, and they're going to be in attack mode. In that first matchup, we saw Herbert being able to move around and be mobile. Ankle injuries dealing with now. Can he do some of those same things? Get the ball out, get it over the middle to Vlad McConkey and make plays. Show us you're the guy, Justin Herbert.
Jason McCourty on Get Up. The Broncos clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight. Mavericks guard Luka Doncic out for tonight's game against the Clippers with a bruised left heel. Cavaliers forward Isaac Okoro will be out several weeks with a right shoulder sprain. On Sportico's list of the most valuable NBA franchises, the Golden State Warriors on top, $9.1 billion. That's second only to the Cowboys as the most valuable franchise in American sports.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right! Woo!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Mike Triplett in 15 minutes. Saints will start Spencer Rattler on Monday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers. Alvin Kamara could be done for the season. What role does Clyde Edwards-Helaire have? Could we see Chris Olave? Kind of a newsy day around the Saints. We'll get to that with Mike Triplett in about 15 minutes from right now. A little bit of news from the LSU side. Kyron Lacey. Yeah, you can hit it. Sure, go ahead. Kyron Lacey just a bit ago put out a statement on social media announcing that he's declaring for the draft. And so just to be clear, Kyron Lacey doesn't have any eligibility left. So, of course, he's going to the draft. He's already accepted an invite to the Senior Bowl. Kyron was a freshman at ULL in 2020, the COVID year. And then each year subsequent, he played in more than 4 games. So he doesn't have a redshirt year. He's played in every game during his 3 years at LSU. And, of course, he had spent 2 seasons in Lafayette the freshman year, the COVID year, so that one goes away. But he's played in 4 years, so he doesn't have any more eligibility. What the announcement is clearly is that he's not going to play in the bowl game, and we'd heard that, and I think we had talked about it here. The notable players that LSU has that won't be playing: Will Campbell, Emory Jones, Mason Taylor, Kyron Lacey.
Mason Taylor!
You look defensively. Obviously, Sage Ryan is in the portal. The good news for LSU that they got on Wednesday was Braden Swinson playing, but been told Savion Jones is going to play as well. Greg Penn is going to play. The players that we're not sure about yet that I haven't gotten clarification from, Josh Williams, which I would assume Josh Williams, number 18, would play in his final game at LSU, but I don't know that answer. And Garrett Dellinger is another that hasn't made any type of declaration yet. But Brian Kelly told us several weeks ago that Dellinger would be healthy enough to play. I shouldn't say several weeks. It was last week when he was on that teleconference that he's cleared medically, Dellinger. It's just a matter of if he wants to play in the game. And this is a guy who was such an impact guy, a 4-year starter for you, and suffered that injury, that ankle injury against Texas A&M, had the tightrope procedure, missed the remainder of the season, would be eligible to come back for the bowl game and healthy enough, but does he? The thing that's notable is while the media hasn't gotten practice access for bowl preparation, LSU did release some videos on their social media, and you could see some throws by Garrett Nussmeier, and he's got his offensive line in front of him. And the only player on the offensive line that's in the spot that where they started all year is DJ Chester at center. So the rest of the starting offensive line, as you look at it, not a giant surprise, but Tyree Adams at left tackle, who would appear to be a guy, has the opportunity to be the heir apparent to Will Campbell at left tackle. Paul Mabenga stays at left guard, where he started with Garrett Dellinger out. Bo Bordelon moves in at right guard with Miles Frazier kicking out to right tackle. So that's how the offensive line looks right now going into the bowl game. If something changes, you'd absolutely love the opportunity to see Garrett Dellinger play one more time in the bowl game. But the thing that gives you a little bit of pause is the fact that your offensive line this year really struggled against the run. We know that. And now you're talking about only having one guy in the spot where he started all year. That's DJ Chester, who was your weakest offensive lineman. And moving Miles Frazier out to right tackle means, except for Chester, you will be weaker at every position. Like Tyree Adams, I think, has the potential to be a really good player, but he ain't Will Campbell. Paul Mabenga is not Garrett Dellinger. Bo Bordelon has never started a game. He's not Miles Frazier. Frazier moving out to right tackle is a veteran player, but he ain't Emory Jones. So it's going to be a challenge there offensively for LSU. I know Lee Sterling was with us, and he liked he picked LSU to win, but he had, I think he said 42-35, something like that. It was a high-scoring game, total in the 70s. Boy, I know both of these teams have had their struggles this year defensively. But my goodness, I don't know that either offense right now, considering what they're lacking, what they're going to be missing, strikes fear into the opponent's defense. And Baylor's a team that has really struggled on the back end of their defense, but no C.J. Daniels, no Kyron Lacey, no Mason Taylor. You're without 3 of your top 4 pass catchers for this game.
Mason Taylor!
And then the issues on the offensive line we just talked about. You do have Garrett Nussmeier as your trigger man, but who's he going to be throwing the ball to? It's a giant question. We'll wait and see how it plays out in the bowl game. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com. Every Thursday we have our Thursday morning marketing meeting over at Parrish. And actually we had a great friend. I don't know if he'd want me to mention his name. I won't. But a custom home builder here in the greater Baton Rouge area does beautiful work, doing some work with him. So look, if you're building a custom home and you need a roof, we can help you there. If you own a home and you need a roof repair, roof replacement, we can help you. Matt Pearson, our commercial roofing manager, if you have a commercial building and you need a roofing option, maybe you're looking at how do I avoid the massive cost of replacing my commercial roof? Well, we have a system where we can help maintain your roof to extend its life so you don't have the massive out-of-pocket expense of replacing your roof. And by the way, for commercial buildings, roof repairs in Louisiana are tax deductible. So let us walk you through all that. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Service the entire state of Louisiana. Commercial, residential, no matter where you are, will come to you. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. Before we get to Mike Triplett, there was a couple of other little tidbits today that I wanted to get to. AJ Swann entered the transfer portal. He will stay with LSU through the bowl game. If you missed it, we opened the show with that. You get my full take there. It's not a surprise, but it does make you a little bit uneasy because you're not going to go into next year with just 3 quarterbacks, with Nussmeier, with Michael Van Buren, and with Colin Hurley. And you may like all 3 of those guys, and I do, by the way. But the way you build a roster, you've got to have a 4th. And it would be different, like when you're talking about the NFL, when you have free agency, you could always sign a player. If you had an injury, you could add someone. Look, the Saints just did with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Kamara's hurt, you bring in a running back. It ain't like that in college. You got who you got. So you got to make sure you build depth at that position. Now, it becomes complex because you've got a starter in Nussmeier, you've got his backup in Michael Van Buren, and you've got a redshirt freshman young guy in Colin Hurley, who would, you'd think, in theory, compete for the job next year. But you've got to build numbers at that position, and you've got to have depth and quality depth. And maybe it's a situation where you go look at the FCS level or the G5 level for someone who just wants the opportunity to wear that jersey, to run out of the tunnel in an SEC stadium, and to be a camp arm and a body. I mean, we've seen that before. So I don't know that it's going to be the February signing day or the February high school signing period. Maybe it'll be the spring portal window, but LSU's got to add another quarterback somewhere along the way with AJ Swann on the way out. The other bit of news today for LSU is they've added another player via the portal. It's not one we talked about or one that anybody had seen coming, but the Tigers did add a punter today. And my goodness, after the struggles that LSU had with Peyton Todd and Blake Oxendorf this year, Grant Chadwick is a much-needed position to address. Averaged 43.3 yards per punt, had 13 kicks go beyond 50 yards, down 21 inside the 20 this year at Middle Tennessee. He was a Ray Guy Award watch lister. He was an honorable mention All-Conference USA. This is, if nothing else, competition, but most likely an upgrade from the 2 guys that you had there this year, where we talked about it all throughout fall camp, man. That was one of the positions we were watching. Brian Kelly, if you remember, said it in the spring game, after the spring game last year. They had hoped Peyton Todd would take the, would just take the job by the tail. Didn't do it. And so they brought in Oxendorf. They battled throughout fall camp. And I don't know if you remember, but man, I'd give you my notes from fall camp. And it was incredible to watch because you'd watch, a 60-yarder and then one that would just hang a 90-degree angle. It was just unbelievable to watch the inconsistency. So something they needed to do, and they did. So Grant Chadwick, the latest portal addition for LSU, a punter from Middle Tennessee State. All right, it's after further review. Our Thursday shows are brought to you by Decision Critical, a concierge nursing service in Baton Rouge. Healthcare for your lifestyle and more affordable than you may think. If you're thinking, I can't afford that, just call, set up that consultation with Decision Critical. Have a phone conversation with them and get to know them. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. It's Decision Critical, decisioncriticalbr.com. Okay, let's talk some Who Dat with Mike Triplett when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Y'all, only a few days left in 2024. If one of your objectives in the new year is going to be to move into a new home, you need Darin James. Oh, Darin's going to sell your home. Guaranteed. There's a reason why I always get to tell you every single day that Darin's on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America, the Real Trends list, number 13 in the country, and that's on the transaction side. Number 1 in Louisiana. Quite literally, no realtor in Louisiana sells more homes than Darin James. If you need to sell your home, you need the best. The realtor with the systems and the processes and the people in place to get your home sold faster for more money. Here's something I always encourage you to do. If you're thinking about selling your home, and you're maybe going to talk to several different realtors, ask the realtor you call, hey, how many buyers do you have lined up to buy exactly the home that I'm listing? Then ask that question to Darin, and he'll give you a number. It's agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darin James.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Mike! Yeah?
New Orleans Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football. Presented by Benny's Car Wash. Family owned and operated since 1951.
All right, let's do it. Mike Triplett, New Orleans Football. How are you, man?
Doing good. How are you?
Better than Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara, apparently. So let's delve into all this. I guess let's start with Carr.
Yeah.
All these reports are that he's going to be shut down for the year, or that he won't play again this year. Darren Rizzi continues to be defiant. Where do you fall on this with Derek Carr?
I think it's semantics over the timetable. I mean, I think everything we've reported and almost everything everyone reported has been pretty accurate. I mean, there's significant fractures in his non-throwing hand. Ideally, that would be a timetable of 4 to 6 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, whatever you want to call it. We constantly see people who try to beat the timetable and play as soon as they're cleared to wrap it up and function. Pete Werner came back in a week. Alvin Kamara came back in a week. They didn't miss any games. Josh Allen, they've referenced. Justin Herbert, they played with injuries on their hand. It's somewhere in that group, and 3 to 4 weeks means the season. So that's how it kind of got reported a couple times. He could miss multiple weeks, and with only 4 weeks left in the season, that means he could miss the whole season. But Carr has been hoping to come back and play sooner than 3 or 4 weeks. The Saints are going to allow him to try and come back, and if he's cleared to play, they're going to play him again. So, and the Saints clearly are not in the mode of, hey, this season's a lost cause. We just want to play the young guy, which is, I think, where the fan discourse is. The fan discourse wants to see, put him on IR. Come on. I want to see Rattler, But as Rizzy said today, he's like, he took the common sense approach. He said, Derek Carr's been, ever since I took over as interim coach, I gave everyone a clean slate. Derek Carr started 4 games for me. He's 3-1 with a passer rating of 103. Of course I want him back if he's cleared to play. So obviously the Saints and fans who are ready to move on to 2025 have been singing a different tune on that this entire time.
So what will we learn potentially about Spencer Rattler if he does start 1, 2, 3 remaining games?
Yeah. I mean, I think he can only increase our optimism for him, as he did during the second half against Washington. I mean, if he struggles, I think we'll be like, yeah, he's a rookie 5th-round pick, and we're going to see highs and lows. If he comes out and he tears it up and wins at Green Bay on Monday night or plays great in really adverse circumstances against a really tough opponent, then it's going to be eye-opening, and it's going to be really impressive. And, yeah, maybe they'd have to revisit. If he goes and wins in Green Bay and he looks great, maybe they have a decision to make. But for now, I don't want to put all that on Rizzy. I think our expectation on Rattler, I think all of our expectations were probably too high for him the first time he started. I don't think he's as bad as those first 3 games looked when he didn't have much of an offensive line in front of him. He's probably not as good as this last game looked. We should probably expect some inconsistency, but obviously there's a lot to get excited about with him.
It will be tough either way if you don't have Alvin Kamara, and it looks like he might be shut down for the year. Before we talk about the impact of that, what do we know about Kamara's injury, the extent, all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's a significant groin injury. They already pretty much have ruled him out for this week's game, barring a big surprise. Kamara is going to try to play if he can before the season is over, not just because he wants 50 more yards to get to 1,000, but I mean, we've seen him, as I said, I mean, he broke his hand earlier this season and didn't even take a week off. I mean, that's, he played through a hip pointer earlier this season. That's just kind of his normal pride too. So he doesn't want to rule it out, but the injury is, I mean, it's kind of a similar story with the two guys. Like, the injury is one that if you were giving it the proper time to heal, he wouldn't be back this season. But he's going to keep working at it until that clearance doesn't come.
Well, they signed an insurance policy, I would assume, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was at practice today. Did you all get a look at him? I mean, how he looks, fits,
we didn't
sounds?
see much. No,
Okay.
I mean, they were doing special teams and began some individual position drills when we were out there. So nothing that you can like, hey, that guy looked great out there, But, obviously, even though he hasn't been playing, he's been staying in game shape and on the roster, capable of playing all year. So I don't think it would take him a lot physically to get up to speed. He would have to learn a playbook and things like that. I don't think that's the intention. I don't think that's 1-for-1. I mean, they have Kendrick Miller, who I would expect to play a lot. If you haven't picked him up on your fantasy teams yet this year, go check. Jamal Williams is obviously a veteran who's familiar with playing in Green Bay. He would be the next part of that committee. Jordan Mims has been on the team this year. I don't think it would be like turn to Edwards-Helaire. It'd be his first game played of the season and his first week with a new team. It would be hard to expect him to play a significant role in this game.
So maybe just like a practice body this week. Yeah,
and Rizzy even said it was coincidental that it happened at the same time as Kamara's injury because he just got released by Kansas City this week. And he actually said he's a guy we've always liked, always had our eye on, and we wanted to get in the building. He made it sound like they would have done this even if Alvin was healthy and sort of hey, let's take a look at this guy for the next few weeks. So that feels more like long term, let's take a look at this guy than expecting to see him playing at any point before the season is over, to be honest.
So maybe a possibility for next year.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, a young player became available. Last time they did that with a former Chiefs player, he turned into their number one receiver.
Yeah, who missed Marcos Valdes-Scantling, who missed practice today as well.
Yeah, what a transition.
Yeah, how about that? Sometimes it just works out. But all right, so who's Spencer Rattler going to throw the ball to?
MVS is going to play.
Okay.
Darin Rizzi made that seem like it was just precautionary today, and he said he even could have probably practiced today, but we just wanted to give him an extra day, and I expect him back out there tomorrow. So I do think he will be playing in this game, and then all the other usual Plan B suspects. I don't think. We haven't gotten to Chris Olave yet. I'm sure that'll be the next transition.
Yep.
He will not be playing yet in this game. He said pretty doubtful, probably doubtful, but almost assuredly he will not be playing yet in this game. So it'll be MVS, Foster Moreau and Juwan Johnson, Kendre Miller and Jamal Williams, Cedric Wilson. Who am I forgetting?
Bub Means?
I'm forgetting at least. No, probably not. Bub Means.
Pettis?
Pettis and Kevin Austin. Yeah.
There we go. There they are.
There you go.
Remember years ago when Tony Kornheiser made a joke on Monday Night Football about Sean Payton finding receivers on Bourbon Street? And a lot of people got offended by that. Like, that's what this feels like. It's like, who? Who's playing receiver?
Drew Brees, I remember on Thanksgiving night, that he became the first player in NFL history to throw 4 different touchdown passes to 4 different undrafted players. It's a tradition around here.
God bless, they tried. I mean, look, they drafted Chris Olave in round 1. They drafted Brandon Cooks in round 1. They drafted Michael Thomas in round 2. I mean, they have invested in the position, but my goodness, it seems more like, hey, Marcus Colston, 7th round tight end from Hofstra, come on down, be the all-time leading receiver. All right, so let's talk about Olave then. Might we assume he plays again at some point this year?
Boy, it sounds like it. Again, we like to. This is the story with every one of these guys. We like to be like, well, you're 5-9, and there's only 3 weeks left. Just shut it down. But there's individuals at stake here. If Olave, Rizzi said he called it great news. He said he was really happy for him. He said Chris Olave was smiling. Chris Olave wanted to get cleared. He got cleared. He wants to play. So while obviously we want to say these games don't mean anything, it sounds like Olave wants to get back on the field, play another game, maybe kick his offseason off the right way. I don't know, but for whatever purposes that he wants to play, these guys are all competitors. They want to play. He wants to, even though they're, by the time he gets back on the field, they obviously will be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. I would almost be sure of that within a few days from now. They'll be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but it sounds like the efforts are going to be for him to play a game or 2 before it's all done.
He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Our chats every week, courtesy of Benny's Car Wash. Great stocking stuffer. Unlimited car wash. Go to Benny'sCarWash.com. Benny'sCarWash.com. $19.99 a month. The Benny's Best memberships for the first 3 months. Check it out at Benny'sCarWash.com. Okay, so they're going to play Green Bay on Monday Night Football. They're a 2-touchdown underdog. Any reason to believe this might go well?
Who was I just talking to where I said, the only reason is because sometimes the NFLs, but unlikely. Look, they have their whole offensive line together. They put up a fight against a playoff team in Washington. They put up a fight against a playoff team in Los Angeles, but no, there's just too much missing. Not only are you expecting Spencer Rattler to have to go in there and have a good game, but without Alvin Kamara, it would be the ultimate security blanket for him. You're going to need turnovers. This team doesn't turn the ball over much. You're going to need sacks. Jordan Love doesn't get sacked. You're going to need to stop the run. The Saints don't stop the run well, and they have one of the top running backs in the league. It's hard to paint that picture, except for weird things happen sometimes.
All right. 3 games to go. If the Saints finish I think they get one more, Mike. I mean, I think they'll beat the Raiders. Where's that going to put them? 9th, 10th, somewhere around there in the draft?
Yeah, one more win. There's not a lot of teams they can pass up realistically. They're at 5. There's only one team at 4, and that's the Jets. Or was it the Jets and the Bears are both at 4? Hoping they win more than the Saints. I don't think that the 3-win teams will win enough games, and the Saints will lose enough games. So really don't see a path for them getting much higher than 9th or 8th. And if they pull off a surprise win, then they end up back in that same lower teams that we've seen them for years. But yeah, maybe around 10th with one more win.
All right. Snowy Lambeau. We'll see it on Monday Night Football, and we'll see if Spencer Rattler can go get something done. Mike Triplett, read about it there at neworleans.football. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett. Our chat's courtesy of Benny's Car Wash. Go get those stocking stuffers, bennyscarwash.com. Okay, man, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you after Christmas next week.
We'll look forward to it. Merry Christmas. Mike Triplett, again, joins us each week here from neworleans.football. We're brought to you by Supper Club. Speaking of stocking stuffers, how about giving that hard-to-buy-for person on your list an experience? You always ask the question, what do you get the person that has everything? Well, you get them an experience. Well, Supper Club is an experience. So get them a Supper Club gift card. You can go into Supper Club, or you can get the gift card at supperclubbtr.com. Supperclubbtr.com. So go check it out. Get your gift cards. Supper Club, from the moment you walk in, is an absolute dining experience that's unmatched in Baton Rouge, in Louisiana. It's on par with the best restaurants in the world. That is not hyperbole. Like I tell you about the Japanese omi beef that they sell. They're one of 3 restaurants in the United States that sell that beef from that farm in Japan that's been around for 400 years, where they used to feed this beef to samurai because they thought it had magical powers. It is the steak, the preferred steak of the Emperor of Japan. You've got to check it out. It's at Supper Club. It's the only place you'll find it. Brandon and Mackenzie Landry opened up Supper Club almost in a way that they explain it, sort of like a gift to Baton Rouge and to Louisiana, to say you don't have to go to New York or to France or to Dubai to have this type of dining experience. You could have it right there on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. They brought these world-class experiences to you. SupperClubBTR.com. Book your reservations, or get your gift card at Supper Club. Okay. It's after further review. Jimmy's under the weather, so he's not going to be here. We do have his picks. Auto locks are already up at LouisianaSports.net. If you want to get them, you go to LouisianaSports.net, LouisianaSports.net. Just click on Auto locks. You'll see them right there. Okay, we'll knock out a quick break, quick thumbnail preview of Thursday Night Football. Muse can knock out a quick Tigers and the Pros. We'll get some of your text, emails, tweets. Fire away. We're cruising along here in the 5 o'clock hour of AFR.
AFR.
Y'all, as we move into 2025, remember, if you work at, operate, manage a plant, one of those industrial facilities, our friends over at Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics and a business that's as old as I am. Action Industries opened up in 1982, servicing the petrochemical refinery markets, all the plants up and down the river. And what you may not know, as you've heard me talk about Action Industries for a couple of years now, is about the Advanced Turnaround Group. This is a completely different set of resources under the same company's umbrella. The same great local ownership, same great management at Action Industries, but it's people and resources allocated specifically for the turnaround world. People whose expertise is in managing and working turnarounds. It's at Action Industries, the Advanced Turnaround Group. You can learn more at actionindinc.com. Actionindinc.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
pain began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
We know where we stand as a team. Like I said, we control our own destiny. And this Thursday, everything we want is right in front of us, and it starts this Thursday with a divisional game coming in here. We got to get a win.
It was Derwin James. Division game with the Broncos and the Chargers tonight. This game was flexed, and neither fan base is particularly pleased about this. I mean, we all know you make plans around games, and the schedule comes out years in advance, but it just continues to illustrate what we all know. I mean, I'm not telling you something you don't know. It's evidence. Like, it's a TV show. It's always going to be more about TV than the fans in the stands. It's one of the conversations we always have about bowl games. People are like, oh, no one attends the bowl games. That's true. But as long as there's a network willing to pay you rights to broadcast that game and a business willing to pay you money to put their name and a sponsorship logo on that game, they'll always be there because they'll make money. And so, too, is it here. So, Chargers and Broncos tonight, the first ever Thursday night football game that was flexed. So, no doubt bittersweet for these fans of these two teams. But Sean Payton talked about it, too. I mean, all the scheduling that goes into it that's altered with these flex games.
I just tell them, hey, get used to it. That's what we're looking for. They'll tell us when we're playing, where we're playing, and then we'll get ready to play. But, yeah, I think that they get that. They understand that. And I think they're excited about playing another national TV game. And every one of these guys has got 100 people that are a part of why they're here. Teachers, coaches, parents, cousins, aunts, uncles. Everyone has a different group of 100, but that'll all be watching and feeling like they played a small part or a large part. And so, you're playing for those people.
You're playing for those people who want to watch you play in our league.
In our league.
Do we get it at the end of the day?
From DA or from Sean, of course, but I don't think we have one from DA.
Nothing from DA?
No. I'm sure if I went back, I could find one.
I think this.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
I think this. Get follow with an I think. I think this. I think the flex is something we got to get used to in our league.
In our league.
I miss Sean.
I think this is by far my favorite. It is by far my favorite one.
Which one?
I think this. That is by far my favorite one.
Well, if it's by far your favorite one, why don't you have it on a button bar, Muse?
Because Sean Payton doesn't coach here anymore.
Be great to play. Neither does Dennis Allen.
Yeah, it's true.
I know
Thank
it's
goodness.
true. Shut up, Paul.
Poor Paul.
Guy over there.
Nobody even heard it again.
Guy over there is just fighting it, man.
Always is.
Just suppressing it always. Sneezing, coughing. Have you ever seen, I got to tell you my Aaliyah story.
You do?
I know. So the movie Rookie of the Year.
Love it.
Okay, you know the opening scene where Henry Rowan-Gardner is sitting in the dugout and the kid Windemere's in right field,
Yeah.
and he's just sneezing his face off, and then the coach is like, Windermere! So he's doing out there. Get in the dugout. I don't want to hear about no asthma neither. Rowan-Gardner, get into right field. Paul's Windermere. Just, God bless him, just sitting in right field, sneezing his ass off, can't do anything about it. I mean, my guy just fighting it. He's Windermere.
He is Windermere.
You're Windermere. That's what Paul is. He's Windermere. Okay, so the Aaliyah story. Why did we start?
You were singing Try Again.
Yeah, dust stuff off and try again. You can dust it off and try again. That's a song by Aaliyah, and I told you. So Muse had never heard it, didn't even know who Aaliyah was, which is so sad. Like, how do you not know who Aaliyah is? I mean, it's...
We could get into that, but you don't want to hear it, so continue with your story.
No, why?
Well, I mean, she came out when I was looking in like 1991, so for one, I wasn't born. Then two, hold on, a lot of my early music taste from like that era comes from my siblings, and I don't remember my siblings ever listening to Aaliyah around me.
Aaliyah died in 01.
I know.
So she came out in 91. No, like she was popular late 90s, early 2000s.
And that's why I went into the sibling thing.
Okay. I could also point out numerous things like Rookie of the Year, which you've seen, which is 10 years prior.
Yeah.
So, and you've seen that.
That's different.
And it's not different.
It's a baseball movie. That's so different.
It's pop culture. Christmas Vacation.
Legendary.
Before you were born, Muse.
Best movie ever.
The point is, there's pop culture that transcends generations. And Aaliyah is one of those people, in part because her music was great, in part because her untimely passing. I mean, she died very tragically in a plane crash. I want to say in South America or something.
Bahamas is what I saw. She was 22.
Yeah, she was super young. So the Aaliyah story is the day Aaliyah died. It was 2001. I guarantee it was
August 25th, 2001.
Okay,
is
I
what
knew it
saw.
was summer. It was summer of 2001. So at that point, a young Matty Moe was a student at LSU and was working at Lamar Graphics. So you know Lamar, billboard company.
Yeah.
Shout out. My dad worked for Lamar for 20 some odd years. And I got a job at Graphics, which was up on North Baton Rouge, off of Tom Drive. I believe it was Dallas Drive was where, I don't know if it's still there, but this is the place where they print the giant vinyl graphics. You know what I'm talking about? Like you look up at a billboard, like there's digital billboards now, but if you look at a billboard, that is a giant vinyl print. There's a giant piece of vinyl with that message printed on it. And it runs through this huge ass printer onto this platform the size of a billboard, right? I mean, it's got to lay out there. And then those things get folded up and boxed and shipped. Well, the shipping department in the summer of 2001 was a young Matty Moe and a guy named Chris. God bless, I don't remember Chris's last name. It's been a quarter century almost, and I don't even know that I knew Chris's last name then.
Sure he was a good guy, though.
Sure, he was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, chain smoking Black and Milds all day.
Nice.
And he had a little radio that, we were the shipping department. It was me and Chris. And Chris, God bless, he needed Williamson Eye Center too because he squinted so much. And oftentimes these vinyls would get shipped to the wrong place when Chris was doing it, probably because he couldn't read the labels. But it wasn't that complicated. You just got the label, you put it on you match the number on the vinyl to the label, you put it in a box, you taped it, you shipped it. You box them, you ship them. You box those, you ship those.
Thank you for getting...
Any questions?
After you box them, you ship them.
Lots of luck.
Smart.
Yeah. Anyway, well, Chris, who probably weighed... Chris was probably like 5'3", 106 pounds. I mean, rail thin, little bitty dude. And these vinyls that we had to put in a box all weighed like 45, 50 pounds. That's how much those things weigh. They're heavy. And some would get up to like 70 pounds, I think, depending on the size of the board. Chris was wasn't just an Aaliyah fan. Like, he was in love with her. Like, he thought he was going to find Aaliyah and marry her. Like, this was his level of obsession. Not in a dangerous way.
Right, yeah.
Not in a dangerous way. But, like, that was his girl. Like, to a level that's beyond just, I love her music.
Yeah.
A different level of fandom. And so we were working at Lamar Graphics when the news breaks that Aaliyah has died in a plane crash. And we hear it on his little bitty radio that he brought over to the shipping department, which, as I mentioned, was really just this little corner of the warehouse that was just young Matty Moe and Chris. And you want to talk about, like, a grown man having a full-on, like, weepy meltdown.
Oh no.
Yeah. I didn't, and I'm not exactly the sentimental. I'm not the touchy-feely, like, let's have a hug and a good cry. That's not really me.
Nope.
That's a super awkward thing for me, actually. So that I will always remember the day Aaliyah died because of that experience with Chris from Lamar Graphics in the shipping department, who would chain smoke his Black and Milds and listen to his little bitty radio. And we were probably listening to Max 94.1, I bet. And boy, he loved him some Aaliyah. She was super talented. She's great. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very, very
God,
sad.
man. Did my guy need to take the day? Like.
And now you know the rest of the story.
Thank you, Paul Harvey. Do you know who Paul Harvey is, Muse?
That name sounds familiar.
God,
but
Paulie, you know who Paul Harvey is? You don't know who Paul Harvey is either, do you?
Yeah.
Do you really?
I do. I know the name. I don't know, like,
that's what I
full
said.
Details, but yeah.
What did Paul Harvey do?
He was a radio guy.
Was a radio guy. Very good.
I could kind of grab that from, context clues there with what you just did, but yeah, it's fine.
So one of the really cool things on TikTok, I don't know how you get targeted stuff sometimes, but I've been targeted Paul Harvey videos. So Paul Harvey did a feature called The Rest of the Story, and he would tell these very whimsical tales that were very captivating, and at the end, he would reveal who the story was about. And you're always floored by what it was or how it, because you would know invariably the person at the end, but not knowing the story that he was telling and how it was related. But anyway, and he would always end it with,
only now you know all the rest of the story.
I love the old time radio voice. It's so
the bygone
good,
era.
It's so good.
Just doesn't the voice of God. It just doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't.
There's just no. It's just not a prerequisite anymore. Okay. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the story. It was good.
Yeah. We don't have Jimmy.
No.
But I'll give you Otter Locks, and maybe we'll let Muse do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up next. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. Hey, listen, there's so many reasons why you might buy land. First of all, land's finite. They ain't making no more of it. So it's generally a great investment because land always has gone up in value. Maybe it's a great investment. Timberland could be a great investment for you as well. If owning a timber property, you might want to talk to your CPA to see if there's tax benefits there as well. Or maybe you want a recreational property. First South Farm Credit can help you do that as well. Tired of sharing your hunting property, that hunting lease with a whole bunch of people? You want your own space, your own place? First South Farm Credit can make that happen. Go to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. For more than 100 years, First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. Big shout out. Blazier Rivette, all my friends over at Decision Critical. I've told y'all before, Blazier was a CV nurse, helped take care of Drew when he was just a little bitty baby. Little bitty baby. She went out on her own, started Decision Critical. Now she's helping tons and tons and tons of families with concierge nursing care. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Check them out to learn more about all the services they offer. Give them a call, set up that consultation at Decision Critical. It is healthcare for your lifestyle. Okay, Muse. We got some time here. Give me a little Tigers in the Pros. Hit it there. Go. Hit it. Hit it, Muse. Hit it, Muse.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
So I'm sure y'all talked about it in Tigers in the Pros when I was out, that the Dolphins and Odell Beckham Jr. cut ties. That led to a lot of speculation that maybe he would rejoin the Los Angeles Rams, of course, where he was part of the Super Bowl championship winning team. Sean McVay, though, pretty much closed the door on that earlier on Thursday. Said, quote, "That's not something we've talked about yet." And when he was kind of pressed again, he said, quote, "I think it's something that we're not something that we're looking at right now."
Quote.
So a little bit more definitive. Again,
Quote.
Beckham won the was part of the Super Bowl winning team, tore his ACL actually earlier in there. Didn't play at all in 22, and then again spent 23 with the Ravens, and then last week the Dolphins released him. We'll keep you up to date if Odell does find another home. Couple of injury updates in the NFL as well. Here on a Thursday, Joe Burrow once again listed as limited with the right wrist and the knee. That's been pretty much just par for the course all season long. Should not impact his status for the Bengals game on Sunday. Good news for the New York Giants and Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors upgraded to full participant here on Thursday after being limited on Wednesday. He's dealing with a knee and he's got a foot.
He was limited.
He was limited.
He was
yesterday.
limited with a knee and a foot.
Now upgraded to a full participant. And then Dante Jackson, if you're watching the Steelers and the Eagles a week ago, you saw him go down. He is still listed as questionable. He's got a back.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's got a back?
He's got a back. questionable with
but
that.
Malik's he's limpited with a knee and a foot.
With a knee and a foot.
Got a knee and a
but
foot.
now Malik's full. With
Malik's
a knee
full,
and a foot.
but Dante's got a back.
Dante's got a back. That's Tigers and Pros.
We got Michelle. I also got to get to Otter Locks. Michelle weighing and measurement. Michelle.com, Michelle.com. I got the Otters picks here. Jimmy's sick, so he's not going to call in, but I'll give you his picks in a GIF. Remember, if you weigh or measure something at Michelle, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Why in the world would you ship your precision measurement equipment across the country? Something that could take 7 to 10 days with Michelle takes you, I don't know, a couple of months? No. Michelle weighing and measurement. All the calibration services they offer, learn about it. Our nation's largest distributor of scales. You can learn about it, and they are sea to shining sea, now more than 13 states. It's Michelle weighing and measurement. Michelle.com, Michelle.com. At Michelle, we show the world what measurement can do. Okay, let's get to Otter Locks here. I don't need to open. That's fine. All right, 2 plays for the Otter. Thursday night football, Broncos, Chargers. He likes the under in this one, 41.5. Play on the total. So we'll see. Bo Nick's been a little bit of a turnover machine of late. 5 interceptions the last 2 games.
Well, this is where is the game?
It's in LA.
It's in LA? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's SoFi.
Yeah.
You were thinking weather.
I was thinking weather for an under. Yep.
No,
not in SoFi. Yeah.
Indoors.
Well, I don't know. It does rain in there sometimes. Yeah, they got a lot of leaks.
Does the rain get in?
No, they just got a lot of leaks, I think.
Okay. So Broncos, Chargers under 41.5. And then the Otter also likes a little college football bowl action tonight. Georgia Southern.
Eagles.
Laying the 4. However, DraftKings right now has Georgia Southern minus 3.5. So sometimes, as Otter says, chalk early, dogs late. In this instance, lines come down half a point. Get on it now. There are your Otter locks. Broncos, Chargers under 41.5. Georgia Southern minus the 4, minus 3.5. You can always get your picks free at LouisianaSports.net. All right, it's going to do it for us, y'all. Muse Paul, I appreciate it. Y'all have an awesome night. We're going to go to the Guaranteed Christmas Party. Have a good time. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, that's the number. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. I always encourage you to give our friends at River City's 1 hour air a call, but more importantly, that's important, but also to go read the 5-star Google reviews. More than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews the next closest competitor. This one from Dorian Harriman said, Colin was great. He found an add-on device we may have to replace. Then he explained what he checked thoroughly. All the guys have been great over the years. I like doing business with River City's 1 hour air. They've been super to deal with. Another 5-star Google review for our friends at River City's 1 hour air. Nobody's better. Expertly trained technicians, ongoing continuing education for all their technicians, and they make you comfortable with who's coming to your home. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.